wrong, but that's
My
okay. She
apologies.
advertised it as 6.
I put it in my calendar as 6
Yeah.
when we
Then
made
maybe
the
I was
meeting.
wrong. I thought we said for 6:30, but then the 28th would have been 6, so it doesn't matter. We'll be done earlier.
And I had a very good, I told you, very good reception to that dental plan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
great.
Yeah, we'll, I'm gonna do a resolution tonight because okay.
Yeah.
We're out on YouTube talking about what time the meeting is gonna start. Sorry about that. Apparently we were unmuted. That's not too bad. Okay, we'll call the October 7th, 2021 Town of Rochester budget meeting to order. Would you stand for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will call the roll call. Councilwoman Allen,
Here.
Councilwoman Hagen Pugh, absent. Councilman Hewitt,
Here.
Councilman Paddock,
Here.
Supervisor Bain, here. Also present is Highway Superintendent Fry. We will be reviewing the tentative budget for the highway tonight. And will be probably a couple hours of meeting. So starting with the insurance line, we'll start beginning with expenditures. I've 35 because last year or this year 26,178, and talking with Dwight, he anticipates about, as he put it, somewhere between a 5 to 10% increase, which is probably 5 might be a little high. We could potentially come down to 30, but I'll leave it to your opinions of what you think we should do.
I thought the image we got the other day said it was going to be 5%. Now it's between
The
5.
5 is the health insurance.
Oh,
This
liability.
insurance is the vehicles, the building, the highway garage.
Okay.
The 5% is the employee health insurance, which is a different budget.
Okay. So why is our liability insurance going up between 5 and 10?
In general, he said he thought the rate increase would be between 5 and 10. for the
Okay.
year. There's no particular reason. It's just increasing.
I get it, with health insurance, usually the cost of, medicine prescriptions goes up. But with property insurance, unless our building became more valuable, which is quite possible,
Right.
but usually it goes right along the lines of
Well,
inflation.
if you look back in 2020, it was, and I will say that sometimes we get one insurance bill and it's split between highway and general, and sometimes the split has not been 100% the same from year to year. But if you look at the historically, we were 20,500, then we were 25,700, and last year we were 31,200. This year we're at 26,100, 26,178 to be exact. We won't have any more. That will be unless something changes, we won't have anything more this year in that line. But I do look back at last year, we were 31. Why we're only 26 this year? I guess maybe some of our vehicle prices as they got older may have dropped slightly. I put the same placeholder in as last year as a safety net kind of thing.
Okay.
Because if we're under, then we gotta find money.
Mhm.
It is a place we could potentially drop down a little bit.
Yeah, I thought 32.5 if we do drop.
That kind of splits the difference, yeah. So let's drop the insurance to 32.5.
So we're on page 2 of the highway expenditures.
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry, I'm looking at yes, because, which is the first page of expenditures, because the other page is revenue. The page prior. I don't have the printout. I'm just working off my computer, so apologies.
And actual expenditures, so we're done paying for the year for insurance?
Unless something changes between now and then, unless we get a new vehicle, or we have a pickup truck on order, but
Oh, we got that.
we got it.
Yeah, it came in last week out of the blue.
Oh,
Yeah, it came sailing in.
so then the answer is we will
Yeah.
have an increase because we're gonna have to insure that.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just happened.
We didn't think we
Last
were gonna get it
Friday.
till next year.
I did not, and they told us they weren't, and the next thing you know, they called, says we're bringing it. I said, okay.
We ordered
right.
this pickup truck last year.
Yes, last December.
For this year's budget,
Mhm.
and then got told we wouldn't get it till 2022.
They must have found one on the lot or something, because all of a sudden one appeared, but, so that is insured, so that's all.
So we will be having an increase then of, but just for 3 more months,
Yeah.
3 months of the year, so it will,
But even say that brings it up to 27,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
10% more is 2,700. We should be under 30.
yep, I
and
would
then the
agree.
32.5
I would
is
agree.
one.
Working on the personnel services, the way Jeff and I did it is we started with 40 hours a week times 52 weeks, which is 2,080 hours. We took the 2022 rates of pay for each position based on the collective bargaining agreement. We divided them, we assigned a certain percentage of each hour. So the labor costs are what they are. The only thing we may do is as the year goes on, like this year, we had more road work and less snow plowing than we anticipated. So we moved from snow plowing to road work. But the labor costs work out to 2,080 hours per person. So I'd like to just leave them the same unless somebody has a big problem. The numbers that are showing in the budget as number of hours are actually not updated. That was last year, and my apologies. I will go back and update those numbers to be the correct numbers for this year's budget.
What do you mean? What are you referring to?
In the job title description, there's 2 lines. There's one of the position, and then one says how many hours per year.
Mm.
That hours per year is based off of last year's. I did not update those. I will before the final budget. So the number that is in the tentative budget does not equate, like, for example, the working supervisor, 1,820 hours. That number, the 55,547 doesn't equal 1,820. I'll have to update the hours.
Are you seeing anything?
I'm not seeing any of
No.
Oh,
what you're
maybe in
talking
the
about.
printout it didn't print.
Oh, page 4, I bet,
Page 4.
because then. it gets into the
Administration.
Detail of it.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what the
yeah, you
detail
need
is?
to be looking at the detail.
Oh, we were in
Yeah.
summary.
Okay.
Yeah, administration.
Yeah, summary
Page 4.
is by,
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
we need to be working in the detail. I'm
Yeah.
Much
sorry.
better.
okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, this makes so much more
We are
sense.
literally all on the same page now.
Apologies.
Page 4.
Now is it making sense?
It is,
So
yeah.
those hours are still this year's
Correct.
budgeted hours.
Okay.
I will correct them.
Yeah.
And I've got to go back through my notes of when Jeff and I met, and
Yeah, you had them
Figured it
correct.
out.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
we did a little spreadsheet and assigned a certain number of hours to each position. So we didn't have to do it quite as much maneuvering. So, but my point was, those numbers are based on the salary, so there's no real discussion unless we think it's different hours, and that's kind of up to Jeff to set.
Looks good.
We did not put any overtime in administration. That would only come up if, say, somebody had to go get their CDL testing or something, and possibly sometimes they might run into overtime in that situation, but it's so rare. We budgeted $500 last year. We haven't spent any of it, so this year I just budgeted zero for it. If we run into a unique situation, we can always move some money into that line. So moving into contractual, supplies and materials, we've kept it at 1,000 as it was this year. It's hit and miss. I mean, this year we spent $253. I could go back through and find the breakdowns of past years if anybody really has questions, but the total amount for the contractual line is what's reported in by our accounting firm. The subcategories are kind of for our own purpose. The state doesn't care about the subcategories. They just care about the single decimal, the 0.1, the 0.2, the 0.4 line. So is everybody okay with 1,000 in that line?
Yep.
Oops, not 100. Office supplies, we didn't budget anything this year. There was $55.79 so far, so I put 100 in again. Professional services, we had a couple of unique circumstances. We had a very large towing bill because we had a truck during the winter storm slide into a ditch, and it was a dual tow truck to get it out. That was a significant amount of that $4,000 bill. We probably could have put it to insurance, but with the deductible, it just didn't really pay to send it to insurance for the towing bill. So I budgeted at 1,200, which is where we were last year. I think we're probably safe with that amount, if everybody is in agreement. And if we get a unique situation, we can move some money around to resolve it like we did this year. The rental and lease of the radios, Jeff, our contract is still good for,
Yes,
okay.
yeah,
We've been paying the same price for rental, at least the radios for, I don't know, I think it was like an 8-year contract or something, or
I think we gotta be getting close to
it's
the end.
been since Tony
Yeah.
started this, and you've been in 2 years.
He
and
was in-
Tony was in 3 years. and
This has
then
gotta
was-
be it. I thought it was
Yeah, I
5
think,
years.
So it must be one more year.
Because I had Comco, the guy from there, come visit me already, so he must be keeping track of,
Okay.
yeah.
But the price is a set
Yeah.
price, and the 12.7 is,
I can't find the paperwork where it had it in it, but I'm pretty sure it was 5 year.
I can check with the original
Okay.
resolution.
Okay.
It's just a little over $1,000 a month for the radio rental, which is, it comes out to the 12,700. We had a software line in from way back when, but that was, we used to have a specific highway department software. We don't utilize it anymore. So actually, I'm going to delete that line totally from the budget. It was at 0, but there's not even any reason it needs to be there.
You think, Jeff, you can look into the rental lease on the radios just in case it's not due next year? Or do you think it's due one more year?
I'm gonna have to look, because I thought at the time it was 5 years. So this would be the last year.
This 2021.
2022.
Yeah.
2022 will be the last year, I believe, but I gotta look it up, and I know I have it in the office there
I
somewhere.
believe Tony started it his first full
He
year.
did, yes.
So he took over when Wayne Kelder stepped down. Tony took over, he finished out that year, and then the start of his first 2 year or his 2 year term was when we.
He
did the
brought,
contract.
we brought them in,
And
yeah.
then Jeff has had 2 years, so which I believe is.
Gotta be
it's
one more.
year.
Yeah, and I'll
So
double
next
check.
year, we will have to negotiate
Yes.
a new lease.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll double check and make sure, but I'm quite sure it was 5 years.
It's not something you get rid of, you renew next year, once this is done.
Yeah, what I'll do is I have two companies. This is Goosetown that we use now, and we have non-Comco. So I'll get bids from both of them. We all used to use non-Comco. Now even the fire company uses Goosetown. Bus Garage uses Goosetown. They just come in with a lower rate, to get their feet in the door.
Yeah.
If we'll have to see if that's still the case.
Yeah,
But I only have two of them that,
they bid 5 years ago, essentially, or 4 years ago, they bid a monthly contract for a 5 year contract.
yeah, they
So
wanted
when
to
that
get in there.
expires, we'll have to go back out to bids because it's the amount of money you spend in 1 year, and with that amount of 12,700 with our policy, we have to get a minimum of 2 quotes for that amount and probably 3 quotes.
Yeah,
Is there any new technology that they're using out there? Satellite phones or anything like that? That, maybe even have better coverage and, it's quite a bit of money. So, I think that we, if there's something out there, I would.
yeah, the next time around, I'm gonna try to see if we can, advance some of the stuff.
How many radios is it that we have?
Ooh,
Every
well,
vehicle has one.
I have 3 portables that we use for flagging. They're just set up for flagging. So I don't have to hear them on our radios.
Mhm.
Or and each truck has one. And you're talking 13, 14, 15 vehicles.
And then you have
Plus
the
the
base station. So
Base
there's at least
station plus the
20
portables. yeah.
20 radios,
Yeah.
so it's about $50 a month per radio.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No.
And they come right out. I mean, they're fantastic. If you need something, they're right there. And they can actually do it from their house. If I call them up and tell them certain radios aren't working, they can actually work right from their house, however they do it.
And we do
So,
have coverage throughout
Every
the
place.
town.
yeah,
That's the most
even,
important thing.
yeah,
Even when we're way up in the mountains.
I'm in
they
Kingston, I
communicate
can
all the
hear
way
'em.
back to the,
Actually, it works better in Kingston and some of the other places than it does here, actually.
just bouncing off. the
Yeah,
Receivers.
but-
Yeah. Okay, education conference, I always put something in as a placeholder, in case Jeff goes to one. We've been lucky that so much has been free and on Zoom. We did previously put in 1,500. I'm gonna jump that down to 500 this year.
I try to go to most of the, I get so many
He goes to the
opportunities for free
ones, and
classes,
We
and,
appreciate that. Postage, we were at 50, but we've already spent $45 this year, so I was gonna bump, plus postage is going up.
Is it?
So I was gonna go up to 100 for that. So that all remains the same. Engineering, we had budgeted 5,000. We had this year we spent 6,120. That included the engineering costs for the Mill Hook Bridge.
Mhm.
We never know when we're gonna need them or what we're gonna need, so 5,000 seems like that's only $400 a month average, and a couple hours with the engineering firm eats up $400 pretty quickly. So,
Mhm.
um,
It does.
so I sort of feel like just keeping that 5,000 placeholder acknowledges that we may or may not need something, because we don't always know until we need it.
Only takes me 1 or 2 red flag bridges that I don't, and we don't get a heads up on those, and
And
then
if
I
we
have to call
do-
Barry.
If
Yeah.
we do get the Boyce Mill, the Bridge New York program, that will be paid out of a different line.
Yeah.
But this is just general engineering. So I think 5,000 is a good holder. Maintenance of roads. The working supervisor usually falls under administration primarily. He had a little bit this year, but not much. We had more for highway, more for the general workers than snow, and I'm gonna kind of go with that same theory, so that's why those numbers are higher than last year. You see, we ended up doing some significant amendments,
Right,
and we actually, this doesn't show the amendments that we did just the other day. The other day, we did more amendments. That this amended budget was through the beginning of August, because that was, we did some more amendments the other, at the October meeting the other night.
Yeah, 90% of our work is maintenance of roads. It's not usually any other category. So, except, I mean, in the summertime, wintertime, of course, that's different. That's snow removal, but most of all my spring and summer work is maintenance roads. That's why that's so high.
Now, the overtime, I put in 1,500 because I noticed, Jeff, there's many times that Jared is putting down, the brush and weeds was listed in the old budgets as miscellaneous overtime.
Right,
That really should only be overtime for a tree or something like that.
Right.
Like if you guys end up doing overtime on a road, it should go under roads. So in trying to correct that, I'm gonna put 1,500
Okay.
here.
yeah, that's fine.
Um,
Yep,
I mean, ultimately, it's all coming out of the highway budget. This way, it just sort of earmarks it. There's no equipment that Jeff's asking for specifically for road work. So that'll be a 0. Supplies and materials. We just don't spend that much on that line. So I've cut down, I'm gonna go down to 500 from the 2,000 we budgeted last year. Most of our supplies and materials come under the machinery category.
Yep.
Tools, the same thing. I'm gonna cut it down to 200 unless you think we should go even lower. We haven't spent any on it this year.
So tools, that's everything from a wrench to a hand tool.
no, wrenches go under. tools,
Wrenches are like
machinery,
supplies and
Oh,
materials.
For
Yeah.
machinery, so this is like shovels.
This is things that are gonna last more
Yeah.
than a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tools is, supplies and materials are things like sockets, wrenches,
Okay.
screwdrivers. Tools is more for the road, or if he had to, a specific, and then equipment is when you get into even more durable, and it's gonna have like a 7 or 10-year lifespan. If something like, if he bought a couple of years ago, the saw to cut the
Yeah,
pavement,
the road saw.
the
Yeah.
road saw,
Yeah.
that would be equipment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tools is, in my mind, is things like the shovels.
Yeah, that's what I
rakes.
consider them. Yeah,
that kind of
shovels,
thing.
rakes.
We haven't needed any this year. You never know when we might need something. Now paving, we started with 25,000 this year. We spent 45 because we did DeWitt Road.
Do it, yeah.
And that was a specific one-shot deal of needing to do that.
Right.
So Jeff and I discussed going back to 30,000 this year. This is for generalized paving that isn't reimbursable by CHIPS.
Right.
Anything by CHIPS goes in the permanent improvements line. So this is just generalized road paving, resurfacing that he needs to do on roads that don't qualify for the CHIPS.
and you knew about DeWitt Road
Right.
in 2020.
Yes,
Yeah,
I did.
That's why we budgeted.
Yeah,
extra for it.
yeah, and I got a road or two next year that I'll end up spending this
Right,
30,000 on. You know, they're just roads that I have to do something with that I can't be reimbursed for. Yeah,
The professional services line, that for the road, that's the 441, that's professional services that aren't paving. This year, we didn't spend anything. In past years, we have spent some. I put a $2,000 placeholder in. That's what Jeff and I sort of worked out. I'd be willing to lower that to 1,000.
Let's do it.
It's the categories where if you need some sort of professional service specific toward roads, but is not involving paving.
yeah,
The rent lease of the sweeper, we didn't do it this year, but Jeff anticipates he's gonna do it next year.
Right,
Yeah.
And the 6,000 has been about this,
right.
the rental is 59 something
Yeah.
every year. It doesn't
Yeah, it
change.
doesn't, no.
We're gonna go down 1,000 in the stone. We've only spent 4,600 this year, through the end of August. We did just get a little bit in September. So I think the 6,000 seems pretty good. The cold patch, I went down 1,000 as well in that. From the 5 this year to the 4 next year. And then the asphalt, I realized that the asphalt budget is a mirror of the paving.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Yeah, we don't need it.
Back in the day, the asphalt, we did more different types of patching. It wasn't just cold patch, it was other types, and that's where the asphalt kind of carried over. But I've been billing everything involving repairing of roads to the paving line, so. we're gonna
Yeah, we
go
don't
to-
need it.
We're gonna go to 0 on that one.
Yeah.
You're gonna eliminate the line?
I'm leaving it for now because it's still in the final budget from this year. So I don't want to eliminate the line because the budget should reflect historically. So that's why anything that had zeros all the way across, I'm fine with eliminating the line. If we're just not budgeting it this year, but we budgeted in the past, I usually leave it until it disappears. Next year it can go away because next year it won't be showing anything.
Gotcha.
Now going into the permanent improvements. Again, these are kind of guesses. The permanent improvements and the road work on the highways are kind of interchangeable. If Jeff does something that's CHIPS reimbursable, I'll do a transfer from the road line for labor, from the road line to the permanent improvements line. What happens is when they submit their timesheets with the CHIPS reimbursement request, I get a copy and I go through and I make sure that the hours coincide with the permanent improvements line and that we mirror each other. So you're putting that next one together right now, right? Or was it already?
No, it's going, yeah, it's due in November.
Okay. So
That's
when
a big
that
one.
gets submitted,
Yeah.
I'll get a copy of it and I probably will tweak this year's numbers a
That'd be
little bit.
about 300,000, that one will be.
Yeah. But that's mostly material,
Yeah,
a little bit of labor.
yeah, very little labor.
You always like the December CHIPS check.
That's always a nice Christmas present.
It's always the biggest one because it's all the summer road work.
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
The overtime and the permanent improvements, we were at 1,800 this year. I put in 2,500. We only did 1,750 last year. That's if he's out working on a road and, they got to finish it up by the end of the day because Peckham is only scheduled for that day and they got to work extra hours. We probably could put in 2,000, but bear in mind that there is a 2% pay increase from this year to next year. So plus overtime on that. So that's a 3% increase from that. So I could go down to 2,000 or I could leave it at 2,500.
Let's leave it at 25.
Equipment, there's nothing for permanent improvements. We are not purchasing any vehicles this year. We've ordered one, remember the other day, for that we will receive in 2023.
Yep.
Professional services, road work, that's the reimbursable CHIPS money. We put in 300. And we put in 60,000 for culverts and bridges. If we do get the Bridge New York money, we'll be adding on to that line, but we'll also be adding on the revenue side, the 90% that we're going to get reimbursed. So, and a couple of years, last year, we kind of, identified the bridges, but if you add up, you'll notice they're all the same budget code. So if you add the three together, that's how much we've spent on the culverts and bridges. So it's like 200, 250 something roughly.
54.
Yeah. But we're not gonna have that because 150 of that, or 149.6 was Mill Hook.
Yeah.
And he had a couple other specific projects too that he was working on. Maintenance of bridges, unless we're doing a specific project, we don't usually have much.
Nope. Very little.
Yeah. We also have 0 in the equipment line. Maintenance, we put $500 in this year. We haven't spent a penny. I'm gonna lower it to $100. So there's something there, but it's usually minimal. Machinery is primarily the mechanic, although occasionally the HMEOs assist. That's why we have some numbers in there for them. Equipment, there's nothing that Jeff is proposing to buy this year. Supplies and materials. Through 2/3 of the year, we spent 8,500, so I'm gonna budget 15,000 again. If you, it would be about 13 is if that was an equal amount. So 15 seems to be a reasonable number. Tools, I'm gonna drop down. I think I dropped it down to 3,000 from 5. We could go down to 2. We go to 2,500.
What would an example of a tool under contractual, under this,
Under the machinery.
yes, sorry, machinery?
So this would be something like a saw or a specific,
Tool, a specific
a
tool.
specific, maybe a testing device. of
Yeah,
some
like a
kind.
diagnostic thing for a truck, although they're
Right.
more than that, but I'm
Right.
just using that as an example. You know, road saw,
Well, the road saw would be the roads.
yeah,
This machinery would be
The
tools more
Maintenance
specific.
for the
Maintenance
machinery.
For the machinery, for the
Right.
vehicles.
yeah, it's,
It's primarily diagnostic
Yeah,
stuff.
diagnostic.
So
stuff.
are we pretty well equipped, or do you, Jeff, you were about to say something about dropping it further?
yeah, we could go down to 2,500. As far as all the diagnostic stuff we have all of that.
I could look up what we spent the 1183 on if you'd like, or I can tell you where we spent it. I have that information here. Let me just look, 'cause I honestly don't remember. Somebody have that budget code handy? That will
Yeah.
help me a lot.
The DA 5130.419.
5130s. Just a matter of finding it. I have to go through a whole bunch of. Five one three zero point what, Aaron? Sorry.
419.
I may have gone past it already. No, apparently I didn't, sorry. For some reason, it doesn't put them in numerical order. There we go. So we had this won't tell me exactly, but construction tool warehouse, we had a $490 charge. Northeast Parts Group, we had a $144 charge. Hudson River Truck Equipment, we had a $308 charge. Through the credit card, we had $140 charge and a $54 charge. And A&M Hardware, we had a $47 charge. That's the extent of it. The total is 118328. So it doesn't tell me exactly what it was, but those are the companies that we bought it from. I don't know if that helps spur your memory.
Well,
They were mostly from the beginning of the year.
yeah,
It was in February, March, and June that we paid the bills, so.
I think it makes sense to decrease it. to
Yeah.
25, because we have this big line item of parts down below.
Yeah.
Right.
Parts is repairs on the vehicles,
Right.
and because we have a mechanic, we buy a lot of parts and do it ourselves, so.
Yep.
But if, I think we can safely cut it down to
Yeah.
either 2,000 or 20.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not, I guess, the only, for me, I was like, what is the increment of
Yeah.
purchase that happens
Yeah.
with tools under?
They're
But it
too-
sounds like they're all under like $500.
Yeah, what we
most
get
of
from
them.
construction
Yeah.
tool warehouse and that's in Saugerties is gloves, rain jackets.
Well, that goes under
Safety
supplies and
vests.
materials, so
Well, then
This
it didn't
was a-
get
this
put in the
was
right
a-
place because that's about all we
Yeah.
get from them.
we might have bought one particular thing from them, but I don't know.
Yeah, we buy all of our safety stuff from them.
I go back and look and see
Yeah,
what it was.
that's where most of our safety
Yeah.
stuff comes from. Because they have it all in stock, so
Okay.
that's.
2,000 or 25?
25, I think so.
yeah, that's fine. 25 will work. Yeah.
We're going the right way anyway. Kerosene, diesel, gasoline. Last year, I remember we went down to
Yes.
57, but we've already spent 51,000 through the
Right.
first 2,000 of the year. So
It's
we're
on the
probably
up.
going to be about 75.
Yeah.
It's going up.
So that's why I put in 80.
Yep.
I think 80 is a
Hmm.
legitimate. We can always go the other way later if we have to.
Yeah.
Professional services, last year we only did 4,000. This is inspections of the vehicles. It's, let's see what else it was. A lot of Chilcots, which is.
The inspections.
inspections.
Yeah.
We did have one big one from Chilcott's, 2160.
Is that towing too?
That was, well,
What does it say?
that,
Lance? I
that might have been the towing.
was gonna say,
That was in February.
That was towing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when that was. Yeah.
Safe Light Auto Glass, that was a repair
Yeah.
of a cracked window.
Windshield,
but
yeah.
They came out and did it. It was the 300 for the cost of the window plus the replacement.
Mhm.
Benson Steel Fabricators, there's a $368 charge. They must have made
yeah, they made us a,
a specialized part or
Yeah.
something for the vehicle. National services would be. Most of them are CJs. There was an $89 charge. Most of them are, all the Chilcots are $20. That's the inspection of the big trucks. We take the smaller ones to CJs, but the
Yeah.
big ones got to go to Chilcots.
Yep. So 6 looks right.
Yeah, the 2,100 was the sort of unique cost. I mean,
Oh.
it was a
that-
kind
and that
of a
was that
one-shot
picture.
deal, so maybe we go back to 4. We went up to 7,500 this year, and I don't know, I don't remember if we've spent any more since August. We probably have spent a little bit. And we had a bunch of Chilcots in the last bills. But
Yeah,
they were the $20
they're
ones.
all due, yeah.
Yeah.
Around this time of year, so.
Let's
So
split the difference and do 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rental and lease, that is the welding supply stuff. I put 1,000 in last year. We weren't anywhere real near that, although I remember in September, we had 2 welding lease bills that came due in September. I lowered it to 800. I think that's probably accurate.
Mhm.
Oil and lubricants, we spent 5,700 at the beginning of the first 2/3, so I think 7,000, which is where we've been in past years.
Mhm.
Parts, I went up a little bit because we were at 44 already, but you'll notice down lower in repairs, I went down considerably because we're doing more repairs ourselves instead of sending the vehicles out. It's rare anymore that we send them out. We get the parts and do it ourselves.
yeah, we certainly do try, that's for sure,
So
if we can.
I think going up to 65 on that and then down on the repairs
Mhm.
is probably the way to go. Tires, we've gone through a lot in
Yeah,
tires in the last
that's-
couple of years.
Bonkers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we were told this year to go to pre-order any tires we thought we
The
would need.
prices have skyrocketed.
Because
on them.
there's such a shortage of state bid tires
Mhm.
that we just went ahead. I told Mike, I said, I'm gonna have to go ahead and order up a bunch of tires that I'll assume that I'll need for the winter. Because normally we could wait, and we were told not to wait this year because of the shortage. And the fact that even though they're state bid, they're still through the roof.
So you're anticipating, so that's why you
Yes.
think
The
that
59.68.
we think that that's gonna go up,
Yes,
and then you think we'll kind of be in the same situation next year.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah, the
Yes.
59.68, we had a pretty big bill from Van Cleeks in September on
Yeah.
top of that 59.68, so I think the 9,000 is, actually, I could tell you what.
Do you think it should be more than 9?
I think 9 is safe.
Okay.
I think we're safe with that. It's just crazy right now with.
I
with
can
all
tell
of
you
this.
where we stand right now. Because I just did all my amendments. Let me open that file too. Forgot I had it on this computer. We are at. Oh, no, we're at 59.68.
Oh, that includes the September.
59.69 as of the end of September.
Oh, okay.
So,
So that gives you 3,000 to pre-order tires.
Yeah, I'm in pretty good shape. I only have. Actually, I don't have any more I have to get right now.
Oh, I see.
I pre-ordered a whole bunch of them loose. Normally, we don't get them loose. We already have them on rims, but I got them sitting in our parts room in case we need an emergency. So
do you think 8,000 or can we get away with going down a little bit from that? Or 9, excuse me. I think we
we
could
could go down.
go down to 8. 85. One tire is
Right,
a sizable amount of money.
yeah.
Yeah, they're about. Yeah, they're close to 500 and change
Yeah,
without mounting.
and for one vehicle has how many?
6.
So one vehicle is 3,000 right there.
Yeah.
Wow, I
So
think we should keep
9,000
it at
is three
9.
vehicles.
Yeah.
I think we should keep it at 9. Okay,
Um,
and
but
you
the
already
re-
explained the
Yeah, the
repairs.
repairs, I'm coming down on, now that 716, we had a big credit from Allegiant.
Yep.
We now are, we did have a charge of, we're at 1,800 right now, as of the end of September. Last year, we spent Last year, at the end of September, we were at 10,000, and this year we're only at 1,800. So I think going down from 14 to the 5 is probably realistic. And we have newer vehicles too
Right.
that don't need as much.
They got warranties, yeah.
So if we bring that down to 4, it's an exact wash between tires and repairs from last year's budget. So it was 17 last year and, no.
Actually,
we're
no,
good.
no, we went down more, because
Yeah.
we went up 6 on the tires and we
You're
went
right.
down 9.
Yep.
And the miscellaneous, we traditionally do that at 0. So we just cut 10,500 off of that budget category.
Yeah, there you go.
Brush and weeds, the labor is what it is. Of course, you know, you realize we're asking Jeff to put his crystal ball in high gear here. Overtime in brush and weeds, we were at 6 last year. It got up to 10, but as I said, I think some of the miscellaneous overtime from roads snuck into here. So I left the 1,500 in roads and I'm leaving the 6,000 here in hopes we can kind of correct that.
And I think, Mike, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you said we cut 10,500, but I think it was 1,500 that we cut.
No, I have a total of 231,648. Total for the whole category. Unless I missed something.
We went down $1,500 in that category.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, my fault. There's a typo.
okay.
There's a typo.
I just wanted to make sure.
I'm glad I said that.
Yep.
I typed in,
Typos here get pretty
I typed in-
expensive.
I typed in 30,000 instead of
There you go.
39,000 in one of the labor lines.
Oh,
That
okay.
was a $9,000 difference. So yes, we cut 1,500.
Right.
Yeah. Equipment for brush and weeds, I put in 300, we spent 262 this year. That's if we gotta buy a string trimmer, that kind of thing, chainsaw,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. Things that have more than some sort of shelf life, but not real long-term. Supplies and materials, I'm keeping the same at 500. Tools, I'm cutting down to 200. Tree trimming, we did 10,000. We had not spent any as of the end of August, but we spent 8,000 in September. And it's what, 12, what's he charge you per day?
2,000 a day.
2,000 a day. So basically we budget 5 days worth of tree trimming. That's the 10,000. And that contract is good for how many more years?
I think it's 2022. It's good for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a change from when we used to hire them by the hour
Yeah.
or by the tree.
Yeah.
And now what Jeff does is he saves up until he gets a full day's worth of tree trimming. And we hire them and they come and we get them for $2,000 for the 8-hour day, which is a heck of a lot cheaper. 'Cause
Yeah.
Prior, we were paying, over 1,000 for one job.
And I
This
don't-
way,
yeah,
and
it's-
those guys, it's amazing.
Oh,
what
he
they
gets a
knock
lot of
out.
trees and I have a lot of work, a lot of tree trimming. I got a week's worth of tree trimming for them. So,
Mhm.
and they can get a lot of stuff done in one day,
Yeah.
depending on the size of the trees.
The arm mower kind of is what it is. It's about 70, it was this year. But it's a daily, is it a daily or a monthly?
Monthly rate, but he gave me a little bit of a break this year.
Okay.
I can't guarantee I'll get a little bit of a break next year, so I just keep it at 7,500 in
7,500.
case I don't. Yeah.
Parts, we only did 1,000 last year. That's things like chainsaw chains,
Mhm. Right.
Mower blades.
mower blades.
That
We
we
went through
spent.
quite a bit this year, but
Yeah.
I think 1,000 just wasn't realistic. We didn't used to have a budget line for parts in this, and it used to kind of get squeezed into supplies and materials in
Right.
the old days, but remember this broken out is we're only in our third year of doing this. This all used to just go as a 0.1, 2.4 line. This kind of helps us know where we're spending the money. So I'd like to go to 3,000 in that. I think it's realistic.
Can we just back up a sec on the labor part
Yep,
of this?
yep.
The line that we had budgeted last year, 10,184, but then the expenditures this year is under 2.
Yes,
For that.
you'll notice that they kind of flip-flopped, the pre and the post 2014.
Right.
Last year I budgeted based off of how we had done it the previous year, who Jeff used for the mowing and stuff. And now we only have, with Steve Bauer's retirement, we only have 2 people in the pre and we have 5 in the post. So you'll see that the numbers sort of flip-flopped in the actual expenditure.
Oh, I see. That's the 11 up.
That's the 11
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
the
okay.
1800.
Okay.
So,
So it's a different work
I
category
see.
doing
I
the same
see.
work.
Okay, I
Exactly.
see. Okay,
Correct.
got it. I see that
Yeah.
now. I see
It's
it.
a difference in
10,000,
pay.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Okay.
10,000 might be a little high, but if we don't use it, it's easily moved to a different.
They,
Oh,
they
yeah.
total up.
They
Yeah.
total
The same.
They
The
total
same.
Yeah,
the
so it's a
same
wash.
throughout all the
Yeah.
categories.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a matter of, if I move it from a post 2014, I move it to another post 2014
That's all.
as the year
Yeah.
goes on.
Okay.
We just swap
Depending
around.
on, we just swap it around.
Okay. Thanks for answering that
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
We juggle them around.
I was like, who is doing this work? I don't understand.
And when I correct
It's still in the budget.
when I correct the numbers in the description, it will make more sense.
Yeah. Okay. And no, I see it now. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
moving on to snow removal. Yeah, always a guess.
Oh, yeah.
So 4173 is what I'm putting in for the supervisor, the working supervisor. We've only spent 5,100 so far for the pre. I'm gonna go to 17,028. And I'm gonna go to essentially 39 for the post, 38,955. Mechanic, Jeff is using the mechanic more to plow snow than we really sort of anticipated this year. We've already spent 2,000 on him already, and we haven't done November, December yet. So I'm gonna go up to 79.65 for this year. And remember, these hours are when they plow between 6 AM and 2:30 PM.
Right.
Anything other than those hours goes in the overtime category.
Yeah.
Because that's their working day, their normal working day.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
So,
It's just regular.
So these are regular hours plowing snow.
so if there's not snow to plow, there's something else to be done with these hours.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that we do in the wintertime, let's say inside, if they're working on the plow or anything that's snow removal related, I take out of snow removal.
Right.
If they're working on
Yeah.
the plow, if they're hauling sand, all that, anything that has to do with either snow removal or getting ready for snow removal
Mhm.
comes under the snow removal
Yeah.
category.
So the big one is the overtime hours. That's,
Right.
And
Yeah.
the seasonal line, those are the 2 extra guys that we bring in. Sometimes they work during regular hours, but they get the same amount of pay. They don't get overtime. They don't, well, they get overtime if they do more than 40. in
If
a
they do
week.
more than 40, they
They
do.
don't get overtime after 8 in a day.
Right.
If they plow at 10 o'clock or they plow at midnight, they don't get an overnight differential.
Right. Because they're
Mhm.
keeping to,
Because they're a essentially, they're not a subcontractor, they're an employee, because they're an add-on.
Yeah, I only use them for snow and ice.
they
I
don't have the regular hours.
They
don't
do
have
not.
regular hours.
Exactly.
The way that
They're
others.
called,
Yeah.
they're on call, they're an as needed,
Yeah.
those
So
two.
anytime they work, it's in this category.
The labor is kind of it was a new category in 2021. We didn't have a laborer previously on the highway crew. I kind of guessed last year.
Mhm.
I guessed a little high. So we're going down on his. The overtime, you'll see we've already spent 25.6 this year. So I'm gonna go up from 32 last year to 50. Because
Is that typical that for November, December, we see usually more?
my guess is we'll see at least half again, November,
Mhm.
December, so we'll probably be in the neighborhood of 40.
Is that
For
because
this
there's a lot
year?
of prep that you do? Or we get more
No, that's
snow?
that's the November, December plowing. This
That's-
is overtime.
It's overtime. Yeah, we have had a tendency the last couple of years to get snow in November and December. You know, enough to create overtime. And I've seen busier November and December sometimes than I
Than
have
the-
January, February, let's say.
We
Okay.
also, the
Yeah.
overtime is if Jeff, say we get an ice event and Jeff got to call him in early to sand before the buses, school buses
Right.
get out and stuff, that's overtime.
Yeah, I was asking about that line, and then on the laborer one, we've only done 12.54, but it's close to 7, so I was just curious about that. It sounds like there's more.
Oh, for you talking regular hours.
It might
Yeah.
be a
Yes.
little high in the regular.
Yeah,
I could maneuver some. of
November
those.
and December is a
Yeah.
lot of regular hour prep because November, December
yeah,
is when they're, bringing the snow plows
they're
up,
getting all the trucks ready.
getting them ready, getting the trucks
Yeah.
ready, and that all relates to snow removal. So there's
Yeah.
lots and lots of hours.
January through April
Yeah.
is primarily just plowing snow.
Yeah,
November, December is the prep.
getting ready for
Yeah.
it.
And-
yeah.
And even parts of October. I saw you
Yes.
got all the plows out the other.
Yeah,
day.
they
I
wanted
saw
to
that
paint
too.
them. We're gonna paint them, so I want to get them up. This got beautiful weather coming this
Yeah.
week. We'll get some of them painted.
Put a big scary mouth on the front of it.
Yes.
And perfect.
Yeah,
How about a smiley face?
a smiley face.
Equipment for snow plowing, it's rare that we have to purchase anything. You'll see in 2020, we actually purchased something. And then the accountant, when they did the audit, corrected it and took it out of that budget line. That's why you see a negative 2110 for actual expenditure this year. So we're gonna go with 0. If we need to buy anything specific toward snow plowing, we'll find the money. It's pretty rare that we have to.
Yeah, that's
Things like shoes and the plow shoes, those are like machinery, supplies and
Yeah.
materials.
Yeah.
Or even snow plowing supplies and materials. So. Road salt, we budgeted 30 last year, we spent 27. Should be about the same number, so I'm gonna stick with 30.
Because the shed's full.
it isn't.
Oh, it's not.
It's
But-
not, But 30 is about. what
Yeah,
we-
30 will be all right. I'll keep my fingers crossed that we're good till January and then we should be all right. We should be all right November, December.
Not anticipating any increases in.
We have that.
I don't I don't expect any increases in salt. That usually maintains itself at around $76 a ton. The sand increased this year
Yeah.
because that did go up.
Right.
San went up as
Yeah.
of July,
July, right.
Yeah,
but we did sign on for a 2-year
Yeah.
contract. So
Right.
we were at 18,219, but Jeff just bought some.
Right.
Yeah, I did.
And we
to
are,
finish it out, yeah.
just to get us through the year. So we have spent 21,000 so far this year. He may need to buy a little bit more this year, so that's why, and the price went up a little bit
Right.
from last year, so that's why I went to 25.
Yeah,
this
it
year.
seems like those numbers are good because they both have the potential to actually be a little bit more next year. even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of a crapshoot with
Yeah.
that
The
stuff.
salt is pretty
Yeah.
consistent.
It is, it always has been. I will say that, yes. That's very easy. That's safer to guess on that number.
But just to point out, we get 56 to 58,000 lease for the solar. That offsets that 25.
Mhm. So in 2019, was it particularly icy? Trying to remember.
Well, I think if you look at 18, Aaron, we only spent 5,700. I think what happened is we probably 2018 was my first year as supervisor. I think we probably bought a lot in 17 that we stockpiled.
Yeah, we did.
And used in 18.
And we still had a pile of our own, yeah,
Right.
of our own, yeah. we
I'd be
had
really curious
18.
to go back and look at the 17 line for that and see how much higher that was.
Yeah.
But that would be mostly for salt, like you were just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we had quite a stockpile of it at that time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
19, we had a lot of ice.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was talking
That's it,
about.
yeah,
is
we
the
did.
76, because
Yeah.
we're,
Yeah.
But didn't you buy, if I remember right, you bought salt in 19 that we used in 20.
Correct.
So if you add
Got
the
it.
two together, it's about, it's 108.
yeah, and that's kind of where,
So it's about 54,000 a year and we
And-
budgeted 55.
and between 2021 and 2022, that we're at 100, so that's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So. Seems to be
Just
holding
when you
pretty
buy it
steady.
and how you buy it.
Yeah.
and-
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get it when it's on sale.
Yeah.
Well, the sand,
Yeah.
we're now locked into, locked into a 1-year contract that we sign every year in July.
Mhm.
That's how we've been doing it. Now we're locked into a 2-year contract.
Yeah, that'll make it
So
easier.
That'll make it easier for the
Yeah.
future, and he was fine with doing that. Jeff is not proposing anything for capital equipment. State retirement. I actually am probably gonna have to raise that number a little bit. But we'll be lowering general fund retirement a little. Tim is, when we get our retirement bill, it's for all employees. And
We have to break it out.
trying to break it down between the two is not as easy as you'd like it to be or think it could be.
Right.
We used to be about 60-40. Tim's estimate now is we're closer to 50-50. So I did get, we prepay this every December for the following year. So this December, we're gonna pay next year's. So this budget line is actually our 2023 retirement. Let me look at what the general fund one is, and I'm gonna split it to 50-50, which means general will go down and highway will go up, but they'll offset each other, so.
Any idea what page that's on?
Yeah, do you have a number handy of what I put in for general retirement, which is gonna be,
No, it's,
I'm looking,
Yeah.
but,
I
It's
can
gonna take
probably
us some
find it. This is
faster
fast
enough.
here.
yeah, because I've got to find
unless
the
it's at the,
detail.
yeah.
Yeah, it should be somewhere in the middle or toward the back 2/3, but I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, state retirement, 95,000.
So it's about 160. So I'm gonna up this then to
Page 46
80,000.
of 47.
Oh.
What are you doing? I'm sorry.
So we're gonna up this one from 65. Let's go to 75 for now, and I'll have Tim verify it. So I'm gonna up that to 75, but we're gonna lower the general fund one when we get to the general fund side. And part of that is because
First
this
red
year,
pen.
one of our employees transitioned from general fund to labor job from general to highway. So we added a position. And highway in general are the longer tenured employees. And they're at a higher tier, so they have a higher retirement contribution than the general.
What are we raising it to in highway?
So we're gonna go to 75 for now, but in the general fund, we'll be lowering it.
Right, okay,
55.
And before we do the final budget, I will
you'll know that.
confirm with
basically, yeah.
Tim. We just got the estimates the end of last week. The FICA, I just have a formula that does it for me, and that's how it comes up to the 47,711. It's an addition of all the labor categories times 7.65%, which is what we pay. Workers' comp is usually around 15. It was 13 this year. In past, we were a little higher. You can see we were 17.5 in 2018. We were 18 in 2020. We were 14,000. This year we're 13, and we don't end up, it's a one-shot billing. So I think I'm going to leave it at 15. I think it's safe. If we are a little bit over, we can always find a little bit of money. Unemployment insurance, right now we have a bit of a windfall because due to the COVID,
Right.
New York State reimbursed us any unemployment that was paid during a period, most of 2020, everything from March 2020
Right.
through current, and that's why we got that reimbursement. It's rare that we pay unemployment. We were at 11,000 in 2020, but previously, the 2 years prior, we paid nothing.
Right.
So, and I will tell you, most of that went to one employee. So I put in 3,000 as a placeholder. I'd be willing to go lower because it's rare that we have any. That 7,000 we got back is essentially just goes back into the
Right.
general fund because it's repaying the 11,000.
It was a
we
total, right?
paid. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we paid 3,500 and we got 76 back. So I don't know. You want to go down to 2,000? You want to?
I would, again, just be cautious because we,
It's
again, the whole.
$504 a week right now. So 4 weeks pay is 2,000.
The whole universe is experiencing higher than average unemployment, job, people moving and shifting all over the place. It doesn't look like we'll need very much, but
You
again,
want to leave it at 3,000?
I would leave it at 3.
Okay.
Sounds good.
It literally is a placeholder. I mean, this year we haven't spent a penny in unemployment, but that's because they gave it all back to us
Right.
last year. So, the disability, I have no idea why it's so low. We've only spent $495 so far this year. If you look historically, we were in the $300 to $200 range. I put in 500. We could maybe go down to 4. I don't know. if
I would leave
$100
it at 5.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
That is weird.
495.
which disability insurance is it?
I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
And maybe,
There's New York State.
it's not what is
disability.
taken out of the paycheck.
Okay,
This is a disability insurance that we pay above what is removed. There's a disability out of everybody's paycheck weekly.
right.
That's 60 cents or whatever is taken out. This is not that. This is a differential that we have to pay quarterly. I think this was the first quarter. I don't know why it was so low in comparison to past years, so
I don't know.
I couldn't begin to answer it. So I think we should probably leave it the same just based on the previous years.
Yeah.
The medical insurance is a
Wow.
moving target.
Yeah.
If we add the dental, that will change. I'm gonna, for the moment. I did refigure it the other day because we did get the retiree numbers, which we didn't have previously. Let me tell you where it is right now for the preliminary. But that would be without dental.
I was gonna say, I get excited for a minute, and then I remember this is only the highway department.
Yeah.
Without dental, we're at 254,016
Oh, now.
right now. So I have to up that slightly
Yeah.
because when I first did it. And once we add once we decide what we're doing on dental, which I would like to do that resolution tonight before we leave. The employee benefits is, what that is the clothing allowance. There used to be a line under administration called clothing. And talking to our accountant, it's treated as a benefit. We give them a certain amount. The 3,000 is pretty static. It's $300 a person. There's 10 employees. You can do the math.
So I'm sorry, Mike, on the health and medical insurance, are
Yep.
we increasing that?
We have to go up to 254,016, 51,417 with some guesses on my part initially. I ran the numbers exactly now that I know the retiree rates and everything.
So that includes
That
November,
does not include
December,
the dental though.
but it includes November, December in the, I see what when you said you were gonna look up where we're at right now, I thought you meant in our expenditures, but you were
No,
saying.
no,
with
what I
the
was
real
looking at is I
numbers.
reran the numbers after I presented my tentative budget
Got it.
and calculated at 254,016. Should have been the correct number.
Okay, got it.
Difference of $25.99.
Yeah, and we will, once we decide on the dental, I will raise that accordingly for the dental as well. We'll have to estimate how many of the 10 employees will take dental. We don't know, so.
I
think
would guesstimate probably
10,
every single one of
yeah.
them.
I think if we offer it, we're gonna take it.
Yep, I
Approximately
know I'm gonna
100%.
take it, and they all were excited about
Well,
it.
you don't
Friday.
fall into this.
I
category.
know, I
You're
know,
under
I'm
our
just telling you,
category.
yeah.
Now, debt service, what we currently owe is we owe 150,000 next year for the mill, well, that's
Mhm.
our debt for the Mill Hook Bridge. And we owe 70,000, that is the outstanding. Is it 70 or 100? Do you remember? No, it's 70.
70.
So it's a total of 220. I would like to pay off the entire 70. I think it was 100.
I didn't think it was that much.
Down a bit.
All right,
What
Let
do
me look
you,
up the
which
band.
line are you looking at?
Yeah, I
'Cause
don't
the
see any of
band
those.
that
It's
we
not,
have is
I'm
150.
looking under band principal,
Mhm.
but I'm trying to remember in my head where we stand on the bands, but I have a chart.
Mike, while you're looking that up, the line item for under health insurance for employee benefits
Yes,
of 3,000, what's that one?
that's the
Clothing.
clothing line.
Oh, you said, I'm sorry.
That's, yeah,
You're right.
that's where it's, 10 employees, they get $300 allowance
Got
for
it.
clothing. So that's,
I was looking at something else. Okay, thanks.
we did a September renewal. So we owed 110 on the September,
Mhm.
and that's the one we paid in full.
Right.
So that one is gone. And then the other one was the July renewal. We renewed 100,000. So we owe 250. We owe 100 and a 150. What I would like to do is pay off the 100 in full next year and pay off 50,000 of the Mill Hook Bridge, which will then leave 100,000 of the Mill Hook. But this other one, we're in our third year, so my goal has always been to pay them off in by the third year of the ban. And then we can pay 50 each year for the Mill Hook, or we can decide in 2023 to pay the whole 100,000 and be done with it. So
And what's the term of the Mill Hook one again? I forgot.
they're all 1-year ban, but
And
you
they
can
roll.
renew them
Okay.
up to 5 years.
Got it.
So they are 1-year ban. So at the end of the year, you must pay off a portion of it.
Right.
You can decide which portion of it you want to pay off. And then the interest is based on so the 300 or the 100 is still the remainder of from 2018, when we had to borrow the money to do the road work
Right,
so we could get the CHIPS money,
yeah,
because it sadly wasn't budgeted.
Right.
right.
So we paid that in 19, 20, 20, no, that was in, yeah, that was in 19, 18.
18. Yeah.
Yeah, so we paid that in 19, 20, 21. And now I'd like to pay it off in full in 2022. Both of them are the same interest rate though, 0.75. But this way, by totally closing out one band, then we only have one remaining band, the Mill Hook Bridge.
Mhm. And then that's what that next line, the band interest is based on.
Correct. And that band interest is exactly to the penny what our interest is
Mhm.
for next year. So the 150 is what I would like to pay off.
Mhm.
Oh, I got you. It's the 100 plus that. I was like, where is this 100? Okay, good. I got it.
Yeah. So we owe right now, next year, we will have two outstanding bands totaling 250,000. I'm gonna pay off 150 of it. We'll finish the one band that's in its fourth year.
Yeah.
We'll pay off in the first year, the Mill Hook Bridge,
A third of it.
a third of it. And then we will budget 100,000 either in 2023 or a portion of it, depending on
Nice.
any other debt we have. And that debt plus, we have two more payments for the truck installment purchase,
Mhm.
which is the 2022, and in 2023, we will have that same 88,093.46.
Okay.
And, but in 2023, we're gonna get that new truck.
Yeah.
that either will be paid, it might be paid for by CHIPS, in which case we'll have no debt. Or if Jeff decides he needs the CHIPS money for the roads, then we may have to take out a band for that truck when it arrives.
Yep.
Oops. Oops, if I type in 150 and not 15,000. So all totaled, well, we managed to add 8,000, but that's because
That was the insurance
that was the insurance. Yeah.
that we will equalize overall.
What was the insurance, and it was something else that we added.
Oh, it's 10,000, not 1,000.
Oh, the retirement.
The retirement.
Retirement added 10,000.
Yeah.
So that is the expenditure side. Moving on to the revenue side. Fuel reimbursements, we budgeted 12,000 last year. We're at 9,300 already
What page, John?
after
It's the
2/3.
section before.
It's the section right before.
So it's gonna be like page one.
Highway fund,
It's gonna be highway
budget.
fund page 1.
income. Got it.
So I budgeted 16,000. It's probably close to accurate. We're probably gonna be at around 14 to 15 this year. Assuming gas prices have gone up just a little bit. Remember, we're not paying all the taxes and everything on it, so we're getting it much cheaper than you get it at the pump, but I think 16 probably is accurate.
So this is.
money that
From the town?
Well, this is money that the general fund
Right.
pays the highway fund.
Yeah.
It's money that the fire district pays the highway.
Okay,
It's money that the ambulance pays the highway. Is there anybody else who
So
uses? our
even though it's
fuel?
a.
Just fire company and ambulance. that's it,
Fire,
yeah.
ambulance, and the town for all our general fund
Right.
vehicles, which is Jerry's vehicle, the
Right.
constable's vehicle, Harry's vehicle.
yeah,
Um,
I'm used to seeing those I've seen those vouchers.
The other, just, they have a gas key and it's registered, so when they use, when the fire district uses their key, we know how much,
Right,
just like the town gets a bill every year from every month from the highway department, so does the fire department and the ambulance. You don't see those because they're revenue that come in.
Right.
So we're not
Yeah.
paying a bill.
right,
But
Yep.
that's what it equals. And, you know, in 2018, we didn't do it that way. We just billed it against the expenditure. And I really wanted to be able to separate it out. So I started that in 19.
Right,
So in 19, we were 11,000, in 20, we were 12,600. This year, we're at 9,300 after 2/3 of the year.
and fuel, we added to fuel. So do you, if you know somewhere in one of your spreadsheets what the fire district is reimbursing, or the general fund reimburses for, the general fund covers all of it, or is there
No, the
any?
general fund only covers what we use for town vehicles. The fire district, and we send the fire district and the ambulance a bill,
Okay,
and they pay us. the
so
bill.
do you have any idea of what percentage of that
well,
is?
As of the end of September, we're at 11,400
For who?
total for everybody. I don't have a
Oh,
breakdown of,
okay.
but total for everybody as of the 11. So we got about 2,000 in the month of September. But for the first 8 months, we only got 9,300. So I would say 16,000, if you divide that by 12 months, it's about 1,300 a month.
Right, okay,
I think it's probably close. Might be a little higher, might be a little lower.
mhm. And then we can figure out when we do the general fund, what the difference is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, part of that this year may not be possible because I think that's something that Karen started doing. I don't remember that we actually used to cut a check.
Mm,
Now we actually cut a check from the general fund. We pay it
Yeah.
to the highway fund.
Right,
Previously, I don't know that we did
mm,
that.
okay,
I think we just started doing that this year. Previously, it was just the ambulance and the rescue squad revenue going in there. But it's cleaner and easier if we actually do it as a bill. Because we're moving it, instead of moving it from one fund to the other, which is what used to happen. We actually bill one fund, cut a check, and then deposit the check in the other account. And
okay.
it's a lot cleaner and easier because
So-
then there's a better paper trail.
So 2019 and 2020 would just have been fire district and.
Possibly.
Okay,
I'd have to really go back and look.
all right, I'm,
It's been kind of a work in progress, because it all used to just, like I said, used to just be credits back against the expenditure line,
right, all right,
which does the same thing. But this is just, there's a better paper trail of how the money's being spent and where it's going.
A
I'm-
more elegant way of doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm
Very good way to put
satisfied.
it.
I was just
Yeah.
curious
Yeah.
about the breakdown,
Um,
but.
I would be
I'm- so
interested to
it's-
see what the fire, the ambulance and the general is broken out.
I could,
Any way we do sublines on that?
we could figure that out.
Just and more curiosity than anything.
Well, Tina does a bill every month, so.
Yeah, she does.
We could just pull a record of the monthly bills for the year and do a spreadsheet and total them up.
Yep.
I could grab them and figure that out.
That little incentive program, every so many gallons, they get a free hot dog or
Um,
something.
Yeah, there you go.
This intergovernmental government services is a unique thing. I'm not quite sure where that reimbursement of, actually, it's not even a reimbursement, it's a negative 567. I'm not sure what it was or is this year. I'd have to go back and look of what that was. 2210, let me see if I can find it in the spreadsheet. They tell me where it came from. Oh, great. So many 2210s here. To record receivable per PBC document. This was something that the accountant did at the beginning of the year, just as a reconciliation from 2020 to 2021. So I'm not quite sure what it actually is for. This general service, other governments. but it's got a entry date of 1/1/2021, which means it's the accountant. The end of the year, they go through all our books and they give us a spreadsheet of things we move, we debit or credit from the previous year to the next year and reverse. So I'm not sure what it's for, but it's an unusual occurrence, so we're just gonna budget 0 in all that. Interest and earnings is low right now, but they are 100% totaled on a monthly basis. You can see over the years, it's been around 700, and then it was 500 and it was 700 again. So I'm gonna put 700 in again.
What's that interest on? The
That interest on the
balance?
highway checking
Fund.
account.
Imagine with some funding in there, that can, have a bunch of.
Yeah,
bunch of
would
money
add
sitting
up
there.
fast, yeah.
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Bear in mind that the interest rate is so low.
It's very low. I can tell because I know what the numbers are, and $700
Yeah.
isn't that much.
No, no, it isn't.
But to me it
The
is.
scrap and excess metal, we have not gotten any money yet this year, but we do know that he owes us, and we have to.
Does he come? He comes to
He
the
comes,
directly to the
when it
garage.
comes to the
Yes.
transfer station, and then he also, the highway has a bin down in the back of any highway metal that they collect. And there's a small amount there. Sometimes it's hard to differentiate between the two, which is which. But last year, nothing got credited for some reason. I'm not sure why. 2018, it was 6,000. 2019, it was 1,430. I think all of it got credited to the general fund last year.
Mhm,
I
right.
put in 3,000 for now.
That's a good revenue stream. You guys should start collecting metal.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, just off the side of
We
the
we
road.
do collect a lot of it.
I've got some.
Yeah.
That's it.
One time I loaded up a trailer, I had so much metal, I made it all the way to Kingston, it was like $40.
Yeah, you
Spent
gotta,
my whole day. I
yeah, you
thought I
gotta
was-
catch it when it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sale of equipment, this year we haven't sold anything. In 2019, we sold some equipment that was 7,000. 2020, we sold the dozer and the grader.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
a nice year.
Yeah.
I put in 2,000 as a placeholder.
Right. You're
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
be selling
see.
one of those trucks at
Yeah.
some point, right?
Yeah. some
Probably
point.
not.
But maybe not until,
2023.
yeah. not
Yeah, it
until
won't be,
2023.
yeah, probably won't be this year, but you never
Insurance
know.
recoveries, I put in
Yeah.
0. We hope we don't have any.
Yeah,
We did have some in 2018. That was the infamous year where 2 trucks, one had on a telephone pole.
Oh, yeah.
And one was laying on its side on Whitfield Road.
yeah.
All in the same snowstorm.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that phone call from Tony. He said, "Have you ever seen a truck on its side?" I said, "No." He said, "Come down to Whitfield Road and you will."
Yep. We try not to have too many of them.
Yeah. The refunds of prior years, that's a rarity, so we don't anticipate anything if it shows up. The employee health contributions, I redid the math on that. Let me
Okay.
tell you the new number on that one. And of course, if we add the dental, it will go up from that.
Right.
But right now it is 30,045. Went down $46. Unclassified revenues are just your generic that we got nowhere else to put it. We occasionally get something. I'm not gonna budget anything this year. I budgeted 250 last year. We didn't get anything. We used to do the fuel as an unclassified revenue, but the comptroller added a line for fuel reimbursement, and it's much more appropriate. CHIPS money, we're anticipating 386,000. Maybe more.
Hopefully, we always hope for more.
State, other state aid and other federal aid is only on like a storm by storm occurrence. If you have a significant storm,
Right.
if it's a state of emergency for the state or a federal state of emergency, so we don't anticipate any of those. We're not going to be borrowing any money this year, so there's no revenue there and no interfund transfer. So the total is 437,745. Now, the question is, what I've done in the past is I've appropriated fund balance to pay down the debt. So I put in 150 for this year, which is the 150 that we would pay off
Right.
from the bond, from the ban. And that leaves real property taxes. 1,400,831, which is up.
I was gonna say, is that an updated number?
That's an updated number.
Could you
And
say
that's,
one
Oh,
more
say
time?
that again.
1,400,831.
And are you just subtracting
What it
this
is
from
the
from our
the
budget?
expenditures
Okay,
minus the revenues, minus the 150, the appropriate fund balance.
right. Because
And
when people get the highway, the driveway permit, that goes
goes to the general.
general fund. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only other
Yeah,
revenue I could think of.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, there's no other revenue.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because that's a permit.
Right.
So it goes through general fund. So yeah, there's very little revenue in the highway.
Right.
It's really chips, fuel reimbursement, and a little miscellaneous here and there, and the health contributions.
do you switch your colors for the revenue? Yeah.
So I'm gonna save this then
Oh, you're right.
as our tentative, I mean, as our preliminary.
what was it again? 1 million what?
400,831.
Okay, thank you.
Oops. Can't see it because it's already open. So we went up a little bit from where we were. So we started the process at looking at the cover page, basically.
Uh-huh. You're looking at the main cover page?
Yeah, the 2022 tentative budget, the one that has the funds listed across the top.
Yep. So,
So I'm gonna update this for the. Why did that happen? Something just was weird when I opened that up.
yeah.
It'd be nice when we get the TV, be able to see what he's doing.
Yeah, right.
Yep, numbers, you'll be able to copy them
I
down.
think that, and the public good too.
Oh, I know what happened. No, I don't know what happened. Sent me an error message somewhere in my spreadsheet, but I'll have to figure why. Oh, I know why. I opened it in the wrong file. So it's 8 o'clock. While we have Jeff here, do we want to do like the transfer station general fund? And maybe buildings general fund? And then
That's fine with me.
Jeff doesn't have to come to the next budget meeting?
We're rolling. We're
That's fine
fresh.
with me.
We're early into a budget.
Okay.
Oh.
So let's start then with,
And help us out, a page number.
yeah, I can try.
All right.
I don't know. It's locked up.
Um, not refuse and garbage, right? It should actually be under transfer station.
This is on page 24.
Refuse and garbages transfer station.
It is.
Yeah.
So that's back on 13.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I'm sorry. For some reason, it won't let me close this.
I think that's the summary.
Yeah, the actual break is
The
page
actual-
41.
Yeah,
There it
If you want to do transfer station first.
yeah,
is. And then buildings, 24, you said?
yeah.
There we go. These
40.
numbers look more accurate.
Yeah.
It closes.
Hiring on buildings budget.
Yes, he's on buildings. Yeah.
Yeah. And we do have a revenue line for the transfer station,
Yeah.
but not for buildings.
No, there is no revenue for buildings.
Yet.
What I did here. Let me save this. General fund funding. Now I seem to be in the right budget. So you all found the transfer station
Yes,
under general environment?
General
general
environment.
environment.
Okay. So let's start with the labor. The 4216 that was in there was that what we spent this year was a little bit with the guy we had at the beginning of the year. And then some of that was when Davey was there. All that is behind us now. Jeff has taken over the management of that. I would like us to pay him $100 a week stipend in addition to his highway superintendent for his management of that, for a total of $5,200. Certainly considerably cheaper than if we were paying a manager.
It's also a significant amount of work on Jeff's part, and like I said,
Absolutely.
he's done a spectacular job. I'd have a hard time saying no to that.
I
Thank you.
also
Thank
like
you.
that. Well, okay, I second that. I also like having a number in there because if we do decide
Yep.
that we wanted to promote someone into
Right.
that position, then if it was someone who was already
Yes,
there, then there would be the
But
money in the budget.
Much
Exactly.
as like Kate gets a weekly
Yes.
stipend for tax collector.
Yeah.
I get a weekly stipend for budget officer. Jeff, this is in addition to his highway superintendent salary, which is for his work as the highway superintendent. This is recognizing his work managing the transfer station at $100 a week. And he and I spoke about it. He's thinks that's a fair number.
absolutely.
I'd like
Yeah.
to just recommend that we.
Yep.
So it would just be $100 every week in his paycheck would be billed to this budget line as the transfer station supervisor.
And only for my general knowledge about stipends, we don't pay FICA on that. We don't have to.
We do. It's
we do. That all comes back around. It's built in.
Yep, it's all salary.
Okay, got it.
It's just instead of an hourly rate, he's getting $100. He's getting a $5,200 a year salary divided
Gotcha.
by 52 weeks.
Paid out weekly.
Paid out weekly.
Gotcha. And then added to the line. Okay.
So it goes on his weekly paycheck.
Mhm.
There'll be a line with that budget line. You'll say $100. All that then gets calculated into his as wages.
Yep.
And then FICA, the percentage that we pay is on it, the percentage that he pays is on it.
Gotcha.
So the labor, I am proposing if you divide that number by 52 weeks and by how many hours a week is it? 32 hours. That'll tell you and all three are going to be the same. I believe it was 16.
32 hours.
Yeah.
I get 1575. Let me double check that though. I might have missed an 8.
Yeah, that is what I'm proposing. So we're currently paying 15 an hour for those employees.
I think one of them is at 1550 or is that
No,
no?
they're all at 15.
Okay,
So that's my proposal is an increase to 1575 for them for next year. Does everybody think that that's fair?
If anybody new comes in, what rate are they coming in at?
that's a
Um,
5%.
Yeah,
Okay.
anybody new, if somebody new were coming in, I would propose that we start them at 15. And I will be presenting to you with the final budget,
Right,
a pay schedule kind of thing. Adam and I met and talked sort of about a process and what I'm gonna try to, what I'm doing is, and I haven't laid it out on paper yet, but depending on what the job is, whether it's a supervisory employee role, or it's an assistant role, or it's a lesser role, and the different categories of, will be a starting pay, and then after 1 year, they would go to X number of dollars, and then moving forward from that, it would be well, not after 1 year, because we do our budget the way we do, everything will be done as of January 1st. So no matter when you start in that first year, you'll start at X number of dollars. January 1, you will get the raise to the next level. And then moving forward, it will be somewhat of a variable pending the board's opinion, whether we giving, I'm trying this year to give across the board, much like last year, about a 3% raise, except for some jobs that I believe are a little
Are
underpaid
under,
like
yeah.
this. I'd like to give them a little more to a 5% raise
Mhm.
to try to get us to a good baseline. So the lower paying jobs, I'm trying, you'll see it, they are bumped up more than the 2% or the 3%.
Mhm.
But I'm
Um,
trying to do no less than 3% for anybody.
Jeff, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you think that the staff there will be okay staying part-time next year?
I think so. They have asked me previously if I thought we were gonna go to 40 hours for
Or
2020.
35, yeah.
Or, yeah, from 32 hours to, I think we said 40 hours or 35 or something,
Well, there was really no way to go to 35. We
or 40. I
Right,
guess
right,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
40,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, 40.
Yeah.
And they had, and I had told them that I didn't foresee that happening for 2022. I just don't think that we're at that point yet.
I think the 4 days is working, but I don't
Yeah.
think there's enough warrant to be open on Wednesday yet. or
No,
Monday.
I think the other thing I was gonna ask, and this was feedback from an employee there, is that it seemed like maybe Monday might be a better fourth day than Thursday.
Then Thursday,
This was just feedback.
So they would be
Right.
open Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, and they would be off. Well, they essentially work Monday, Tuesday, they'd be off Wednesday, Thursday, and then they'd work Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. But I don't think we need to make that decision
No,
now.
the
Right.
only reason
But that
for the
was-
Monday is it gives them back-to-back days, but if they don't mind the back-to-back days of Wednesday, Thursday, instead of,
So someone had
Monday,
suggested, what was suggested to me was, what if we were open a half day on Monday mornings? Because Monday morning seems to be like, that would help us the most with the weekend. That was what was suggested,
Mhm.
because it's so busy
right,
that a lot of people might be leaving, like Monday might seem, that was their,
yeah, Fridays and
Feedback.
Saturdays are.
and,
Yeah.
could consider going to a half day, be
Yeah.
open 4 hours on Monday and close earlier or open later on Tuesday and Thursday.
but then they wouldn't have 2 days off
They
in
wouldn't
a
have
row.
2 days off, they'd only have 1
They'd
day
only
off.
get, they'd have 2 days off, but not 2 days off in a row.
Yeah, I don't know that a half day is gonna work
Right.
unless we
That,
add,
yeah, that
unless we
was,
go to 30, unless we go to 36 hours. but
right, and
we
then
have to-
everyone is
Then we
in,
gotta put
yeah.
them, calculate all them
Right.
in the.
Right.
Health benefits.
but it was, I think maybe it's something we could meet with the staff about.
Yeah. yeah,
About
absolutely.
whether they'd be, if we wanted to try switching Thursday and Monday,
Right,
because I like that, was good feedback
yeah,
I
yes, yep,
to
No,
say.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
We switch
it's
from
worth it,
this.
yeah, it's worth a
And,
try.
but
Something
only
we
if
can
they
talk about.
were,
Yeah, if they were on
So
board
we
with it,
close Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Sunday.
yeah,
yeah, it's,
Why don't
Many,
you-
many,
why
many,
don't
many
you
moons
two
ago it was
poll
open
them
up.
And
I
find
can.
out what they think. and
but
then-
I also wanted to say the context that was brought up was as a way of getting full-time
Yeah.
Right.
hours to
Right,
add some hours on.
Add
Monday. So
on.
that was the context
Why
of
don't we
that,
look at the
Okay.
Thursday
numbers.
numbers too and see what we
Yeah.
think?
yeah,
Right,
For budgeting, no, we'll stick with how it is and then.
I think
yeah,
we should stick with the 32 unless,
Yeah.
unless we want to go to 36. but
Right.
I-
It's a very
think-
different conversation.
I
it is a
always-
different
yeah.
conversation, but I do think that we should think about that, just
Switching the day.
switching the day, but I also think if we're not ready for the increase this year, we should think about the increase for next year, because we will have better employee retention, I think
Oh, yeah.
more regular hours,
yep,
like I think our commute, I think we would see a more even distribution of use.
Well, we just
Yeah.
came through a very tumultuous year with the transfer station.
Yes.
Let's see a year where everything goes nice and
Exactly.
smooth.
I
And
agree.
we got a nice team
I
over there, let's
agree.
reward the team.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I do agree, but I also want to say that I think we should we should commit to that conversation next
Oh,
year.
absolutely. And I always thought Thursdays being open now, even, it's picked up, but even having the slower days gives them an
Yeah,
opportunity
that's the other.
to play catch up with some
Yeah.
of the things they don't normally have a
There
chance
is
to do.
one way we could give them a little bit of an incentive is, because I talked with Mary Lou about this. So our policy for insurance is 35 hours or 40 hours if they're in the buildings and transfer station. We could potentially offer the dental portion to, because this is a new addition that we've never had before. We could offer that to all employees over 20 hours. It's a minimal expense and maybe it's a start.
Mhm.
It's just an idea.
And the insurance plan will allow that as a, okay,
It's our own self rule about.
I
who
think we
offer it
should.
to.
definitely offer it to
Mhm.
them.
The dental
think so.
portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Give them the option of it. And
Yeah, if they don't want
yeah,
it, they
if
don't have to
want
take it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
And that won't
Absolutely.
change the budget significantly.
It
for us.
won't.
Yeah.
No, and if I
No.
know going in, when I calculate those.
Right,
numbers, I mean,
right.
One of the decisions I'd like us to make before we leave tonight is pick which plan, because
Yeah.
I have to tell Minnie, and she really needs it by the end of this week.
You know, I mean, again, everybody wants health insurance and everybody wants everything, but again, like I said, our transfer station went through a lot of changes last year. If we can go through a whole year and demonstrate good profit, low turnover, all those good things, the profit, and, as being a,
Revenue.
balanced revenue.
balanced
with
revenue,
yeah.
expenses, Yes.
Yep, but then we can start talking about, hey, this is what we brought in, this is what we paid out, this is what we're able to do a little bit more. Right now, I don't think we could look at last numbers between what the resource recovery agency, the amount of people that were in and out of there, so.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So moving on to equipment, I budgeted $1,000 because we need to buy a new computer of some kind for that space. What it is, we don't really know.
Right.
But $1,000 seems to be kind of the magic number. Contractually, we have supplies and materials. It's kind of, this year we spent $260 so far. I budgeted 1,000. That's just various, things that they need there just to sort of operate. Not office supplies, but paint,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. I don't know if 1,000 is too much.
It's
Well,
safe.
I think it, because some of I think that was probably like the new grabber.
Yeah.
There's like
probably
stuff
was.
like that like
Probably
we've
was.
never had a,
Yeah.
Never had,
The
yeah.
signs I took out of our sign budget
Mhm.
line, I believe. I think I did, so.
yeah, they were more than
Yeah,
$259.
you did, 'cause they were, yeah. Yeah.
You know what, maybe they came out of operation and maintenance of signs, because I see we did have 1,600 there, so. I can
No.
look that up.
I think we need, miscellaneous supplies, painting and,
Yeah,
other things to the
Yeah.
tune of $1,000
I
bucks,
think
yeah.
Office supplies, this year, they didn't really have anything special. In past years, there's been 150. This isn't the tickets or any of that, but this is just in general. Pens, paper clips, folders, whatever. I budgeted 250 again, which is what we've done in the past, unless somebody thinks it's too high. The professional and technical, what that is the annual report done by CT Mail. They just supplied it to us, and the bill is usually about $10,000 to $11,000. So. That's what the 12,000 is for. The C&D, we're down this year,
Right,
or the MSW/C&D.
right.
We're down a little bit. I think we're probably gonna continue to be down a little bit.
Yeah, 'cause
So I
we've
went-
been diverting a lot of people too.
Yeah, I basically went to, the 144 is 12,000 a month. Our bills are usually in the vicinity of, that was 8 months worth was 81,000, so they're between 10 and 11. Sometimes will inch up a little higher. So I figured a safe number is 12,000 a month, which is how I came up with 144. The recycling, I think I went up a little bit. We are getting people recycling a little more.
Thanks to that video, the signage.
Yeah,
know?
I'm hoping we continue to grow. We're at 11,000 after 2/3 of the year, so in theory, this year, we're around 17. I think 21 is probably legitimate. The printing, we only budgeted 2,000. We actually spent a little bit more, although the 2184 we ended up buying two. No, we didn't.
You wanted to go with a different place.
Yeah, we
next
went with a
year
different place.
For next
Oh, I
year.
know why I went to 3,500, because we want to have,
Yeah,
we got the 2021 ones in 2021.
yes, right.
And we will also be buying the 2022 ones in 2021. I'll be calling them in the next couple of weeks to get them by November so we can start selling them in December. But moving forward, we'll only have to buy a single set of them. So maybe 3,500
Right,
is too high.
yeah, maybe you,
2,500?
yeah,
The rental and lease, that is the roll-offs. It's a little bit less than we anticipated, so I went down to 3,000. Operation and maintenance, that probably is somewhat the signs. It's just sort of general. Supplies and materials are actually, some specific purchase. Operation maintenance is kind of, gasoline, oil for the lawnmower, that kind of stuff. Salt, when if we got to spread some salt, or Jeff will bring that over, but still those little things like that. I don't know, if 3,000 might be too high. 2,000?
Sure. That's operation maintenance.
Yeah. Free on removal, we were 2,000. I think we're probably gonna be in that ballpark this year. I went to 2,500. That's the refrigerators, air conditioners, humidifiers.
right.
Should we stay at 2 or should we go to 2,500?
It does look like a big jump.
We're already at 13, 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, well.
And if
no,
we're
And do
doing-
we're sort of, we don't know, I don't know what their price increases are from year to year. 'Cause
Right.
they're-
Been
We're
pretty
being
steady.
charged
They've
for
been
it.
pretty
Yes.
steady.
Mhm.
They are very steady on that. 25, it looks to me like we're gonna be about 22 this year.
Yeah, I think we should keep it at 25.
One of those, we do charge for it, so it's
Right.
kind of a wash.
Yeah. Variable expense.
Tires, the price is, the
Yeah.
price has jumped up.
Wow. It's-
We're at 4,000, 2/3 of the way through the year, which is why I went to 6,000 for this year.
It's like the same cost.
Yeah.
Fluorescent bulbs,
Yeah.
we just had our first shipment this year that we shipped back in September. I think 500 it was around $200, 150, something like that. I think 500, probably 2 or 3 shipments. We don't get a lot of them. I suspect a lot of them sadly probably go into garbage bags, but. Composting, I don't know. We haven't had much at all. I don't know how we get people to do it more frequently. I kept the same placeholder as the 500, but we haven't had a trip in a long time.
No, because I use the compost.
Oh, you're using it?
Yeah, so it don't cost you anything.
Oh,
What do you do with it?
I
You're,
put it in our topsoil and stuff, so when we need to use topsoil, we have it, so you don't have to have any expense.
there we go.
So
We want to go.
I keep a pile of it at the transfer station. They mix it up
there
where
go.
we keep the
I was
brush.
wondering why we weren't
I-
getting any.
yeah.
Do we want to go to 200 in case we get some?
You think this is the efficient way and this is
That's
a
what
new
I've
pr-
been doing.
new
There's a small pile up by the brush. So when I need to go get it, I go to the transfer station, we scoop it
So
up, put it in our
so
truck.
we're
and I
composting
take it.
our own.
Yeah. We're
That's great.
composting
where,
our
what
own.
do you use topsoil for?
We fix lawns and sometimes we'll do various things with the topsoil. We have a pile of topsoil, but I like to mix a little bit of other stuff in with it.
Right,
So I have Justin and them keep a compost pile for me up there by the brush pile. And then when I need it, I go get a load of it and I bring it down there and mix it with our stuff.
Well, that's why we
And
haven't
then I
had
have a
any.
pile
do
of-
you, and do you have a screener, or you make sure that nothing like banana peel?
Yeah,
doesn't
but
end up in someone's
yeah,
yard?
yeah, that
Okay.
type of stuff doesn't get in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Jeff had told me, because I
Yes.
had asked him,
yeah.
if we hadn't
Mhm.
had it on any of
Yeah.
the invoices for a while, so I
Yep.
asked, Jeff told me he
We
was
want to
doing
go
that.
down to 0 or we want to put a little something in
Let's
there
do
just in
0.
case?
I like 0.
You could do
100%.
0 because,
Okay.
yeah, it's not, it's like I said, well, we use it.
It's
So
our new system.
Yeah.
Now the
Yeah.
brush,
it's something we tried.
we've
job.
continued to put a number in the brush in case we have to have, we used to have Richie Smith with his top grinder.
Yeah, the thing is, you can do now in town of Marbletown does it. The Ulster County Resource Recovery will bring in their stump, they'll bring in their brush grinder.
Okay,
The only thing we have to do, because my excavator isn't big enough, we have to rent a thumb excavator for the day. That's what Marbletown does.
that would be a rental lease.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so we'll go to 0 for brush then.
yeah, yeah. And eventually, one of these days, we'll have to do that with ours. We don't take in a lot of brush.
So we just got
So that's
4,500.
30, no, 3250.
Mhm.
Nice job, guys.
Do we want to look at, while we're in that section? Do we want to look at the rest of that page, the general environment page? Some of this, now,
No,
yeah,
I'm saying no.
okay, and that's okay. Let me think what else we
I
can
see
go
community.
to.
service.
Because you wanted to do the bills page.
Yeah, let's do the buildings and let's also, actually, let's go to
24.
public safety, which has the traffic and signage, because that's Jeff. Public safety is going to be right after general government support. It's 3310, if that helps you.
28.
We budgeted 5,000 last year. We went up to 7,000 because we bought a little bit more signage. We bought some, all those no parking signs. We're at 5887 for the year, and Jeff did buy some a few last month.
Like we're on public safety admin.
Public safety, traffic control. It's
28, but line it. It's the last.
3310. It's kind of,
It's the last one at the bottom of the page.
I put in 6,500 this year.
Mhm.
We were at 5,000 last year, but we spent 58 already. Jeff seems to think that that's okay.
Where do we anticipate more signs? Do we have more no parking, no littering?
I
The
have
general
more
signs.
parking signs left up, no littering. I
If we
don't,
pass the no littering
Yeah.
law, we will need signs, although the ones, as of right now, it's, we match the fine to what the sign says, even though there's no law.
28 of general fund.
oh, okay, that's where I am.
But we had all the nice
Right
new
here, okay,
signs for
thank you.
the
Perfect.
town hall and on the road there. What else are we thinking though? I mean, just gonna run in the signs that.
In
would be
general, he needs, turn signs.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh.
get turns, stop signs.
The posts for the signs also come
Posts.
out of, it's not just signs, it's all
Yeah.
the materials that
I
go
didn't
with
think
the
about their
signs.
own.
Both.
It's the
Those
reflective
reflectors.
tape that
Reflective.
he's put on all the signs.
Yeah. It covers pretty much all the signs that we.
Okay.
that
I
we
just
get.
thought we should bump up a
Check.
little bit.
Yeah.
We paid, if you look back historically, we were around, well, in 2018, it was still coming out of highway budget till Tony went to a training and informed me it comes out of our budget. So in 2019, we spent 5,048. In 2020, we spent 5,274. So far this year, we're at 5887, and we did spend a little bit, so we're probably right around 6,000 for the year so far. The signs that we bought though for the parking lot over here behind the firehouse, those came out of that budget line. And like the new signs for the code enforcement office and all that. So there were some unique, like one-shot signage.
Yeah.
We could maybe go 6,000.
Yeah, it seems like this was a big sign year.
It was.
Next year
It was versus other years. Yeah. No
Okay.
doubt.
So we'll go 6,000. Then now let's move to general government support, which is where the buildings line is. Although very little of some of this affects Jeff, but most of it is. us.
buildings.
Yeah,
Mhm.
1620, the budget line.
Page 24.
For the salary. It's, I don't know if somebody can do the math for me.
Mhm.
You divide 45,927. Actually, this salary is set by the
Right,
contract.
Yeah.
45,927 divided by 40 divided by 52.
right.
But if somebody wants to
It's
figure that out.
2208.
2208. And currently it is.
Uh, 2115.
$150? Look at you go.
Mhm.
Yep, 43,992. And we're going to what, 2208,
Oh, wait.
which is a. $0.93 an hour raise. That doesn't sound right.
That's 4.5%,
Yeah,
but that's,
that doesn't sound right. I have to look back at the agreement, what we said it at.
yeah.
Uh, Just had the original collective bargaining agreement. Don't remember when we.
I have that, but I don't remember what it said. I put it inside with the,
The file, the change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, hang on 1 minute, let me try to find it real quick. Apparently I didn't save the email. There we go. It was 2165. It's 2165 right now. I think that 2115 was the preliminary one. We must have changed it. Because I remember confirming it with Tim, so I think it's currently is 2165.
Mhm.
So that's why,
Yeah, and then that's a 2.7% or something like that. I remember 2.7, 2.6.
yeah, our tentative budget was 2115, and I think we did change it at when we made the job changes, I believe we changed it to
Oh,
2165.
It's 2%. That's a 2%.
2%.
Yeah, 2%
Okay.
is the,
Oh, sorry.
under the CBA, the 2% increase is correct.
Okay,
Yep.
So, okay. That answers.
so yeah, that's,
So that's the 45,927. We will have no expenditure in the 3 laborer categories.
right.
The supervisor actually is, I'm gonna change that title
Yeah,
to laborer. That is the only expenditure line. We have no expenditure line for equipment. Supplies and materials, we were at 7,500 for the year. We lowered that. We so far have spent 3,200 so far this year. So I'm putting in 5,000.
mhm,
Office supplies, we had 100 budgeted last year. For some reason, we have purchased 123 already. I put in 200 as a placeholder. Sorry, 1 second, I'm just catching up here. Tools, we budgeted 200, we've only spent $25. Put 100 in. That's just generic of anything we might need.
mhm.
Electric, we budgeted 20, we raised it up a little bit. We're at 14.4 so far, 2/3 of the year. So I'm anticipating we're gonna be around 22. I budgeted 24, which is 2,000 a month. Propane, I think we're kind of right on track. Obviously, in the summer, we don't use much, if any. November, December, October, we'll start to pick back up again. So I think 9,000 is probably still a good number. Fuel oil, I think we're a little bit low this year. We're at 12. I went to 15. I could be convinced to go down a little bit. What do you think, Chris?
14. It's still safe.
This is kerosene, diesel, and gasoline where it's needed specifically for a specific project. This is not the vehicles one.
Right.
This is just, we didn't budget anything. We spent $292.
I think they run a generator or something,
I'm not entirely sure what it was for.
lawnmower.
Yeah, no, that kind of comes out of somewhere else. I mean, let me see if I can find what we spent it on. What's the code after the 1620?
For the 1620424. Thank you. Need a ruler.
You know, we only had a single charge and it's Costco Heritage, and I'm not quite sure why we had it.
We need to run a portable heater for the annex or something
April.
while we were.
Yeah, I don't know why we had it. Let's go
Yeah.
to zero. It was a one-shot deal. Cablevision has gone up a couple dollars. It was like 9 something a month, and now it's gone up to, or it was 8 something a month, and now it's gone up to 9 something a month. So that's why it went up $20. We have that for our highway garage only for a couple reasons. One is they do monitor the weather through there.
Yeah,
And-
we do.
And when they're there during the long hours where they're downtime, it's $120 a year.
Yep.
The insurance is the building insurance itself.
Mhm.
It was $55.85 this year. It's fairly new that I was breaking that out. It used to always be in the general insurance line. But we budgeted 57 last year. I was anticipating a little bit of an increase, maybe 75 is too high.
So if they're saying, that's the one that you were saying at the beginning of the meeting, to go up 10%.
Dwight said somewhere between, anticipate somewhere between 5 and 10%.
So it's
So,
$500, that's.
yeah,
6,000.
6,000?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Professional services is essentially any professional services that is done with the buildings. Everything from the rugs in here to the oil burner cleaning, plumbers, electricians, anything. We budgeted 65,000 as a placeholder this, knowing we wanted, and some of that professional services was, we just spent the money on the paving at the courthouse.
Mhm.
That we just paid that bill this past month. That's not in that 36, that was what, 12? Jeff?
I mean,
Roughly?
Yeah, 12,000.
Let me ask you a question, based on our building condition survey, do we need any more than that for, if we went back through there, are we picking out things that we're gonna do this year?
We are. We did apply for the grant for the bathrooms to make them ADA compliant at the
Right.
courthouse because they are not.
Yeah.
And it's simply a matter of if an inspector ever came in and said, you can't operate because
Yeah.
they're not ADA compliant. That bill, the quote was over $70,000 and the grant will only pay 30 of it. But if we get the grant, I was going to deal with it then, we could always take it out of fund balance.
Yeah,
65 this is kind of the general maintenance with a few sort of one-shot projects built in.
right. And that's what I was saying was we went back and you said this is plumbing and electric, and we went back through that building conditions survey and said, how much immediate plumbing and electric and painting and those things that
Right.
should be done this year. Is that enough to cover it? Because like this year we did paving, I don't anticipate.
No, I mean, I can tell you what we did it with last year.
Is it like HVAC service too, right?
Yeah. Hudson Valley Septic Service. Uniforms USA, I gotta be
The
honest,
roads.
I got a question to ask the board. We have been for as long as I can remember, paying for a service to come in and swap out these carpets on a monthly basis. Sheila, we want to buy our own and just have Sheila vacuum them. It's costing us $58.50 a month. That's almost $700 a month. I think we could probably buy carpets.
Wait, for each, wait, 58.50.
Total for all the carpets in this building. The reason
That's
they've
just this one,
always,
that's not all the buildings?
oh, the other buildings, we own them. It's just this building, and it's because of the high traffic with the kids and everything.
They do
now.
ours too in highway, yeah.
They do.
He
They
does the
swap.
same carpets as those in our
Do they
office.
swap them out?
He swaps them out,
Oh.
but
okay.
Sheila always cleans them. It's
Yeah.
not like he can't, I mean.
Yeah, I
when-
didn't
yeah.
realize they swapped those out. Too.
He swaps those in
So the-
here. That's
So,
only those
okay,
two
so
places.
the 58.50 is for here and for.
Yes.
Do you think it's worth keeping that service? Or should we just have Sheila clean? it?
Sheila
highway.
ends
We
up
could
cleaning
buy
them anyways.
ourselves and-
Well, I
Yeah.
think Sheila would be the one to ask,
I could ask her.
because if she's able to clean them because they're kind of clean, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if she feels like,
And those,
Yeah.
those mats are anywhere between $60 and $150 a piece to buy them. So say on,
I
say
mean,
on
there's a
average,
fair amount, but
Say on
like, you know, we
average,
don't really need, we could, obviously the ones at the doorway we need.
Mhm.
The one here, you don't really need that. There are runners in the hallway there. They are useful in the winter time especially, and in the winter time, when they swap them out. They swap them every other week, Jeff, every 2, or once a month?
I think it's every other week he
I
swaps them
think, I
around.
think it's, I
Yeah,
think for that 58.50, it's 2 times a month.
so $58.50. Is that what
That's
you're
what we
saying?
pay every month.
Per rug? Or
No,
just-
58.50 total. to the
Okay.
total
company.
service.
yeah.
We pay
For
a
2 trips?
$9.50 charge and a $49 charge. The $9.50 I'm betting is the highway.
Yes.
and the
Yeah,
49
it is.
This building.
850 is, now that you say 850, that's exactly what it is.
So it's $702 a year for that. That's, I don't know.
For the service, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
You
If
know,
we wanted to buy the
looking
rugs,
at
it'd be the
this, I
same.
think it might be 58.50 every 2 weeks.
All right, now you got
Right.
1,500 bucks.
Mhm.
That's a lot of rugs.
When it gets muddy, it seems like it would be hard to clean.
Yeah, like, yeah, that, but then the other times of year.
Yeah, you know
it
what? I'm
seems like
looking at
she's
it. So
cleaning rugs.
every charge, there's 2 950s and there's 2 49s. So it's 58.50 every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So,
So that's 58.50 times $26.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a lot of money.
it's like 1,500 a year.
What is it, 58?
58.50 times every other week, so times 26.
20,
yes, it's, yeah.
24, or no, you're right.
So
Oh,
my questions would be, could we go down to once a month and it would be the same price? Or do they require us to be on this every 2
That I
week
don't know.
schedule?
Yeah, good question.
And then the other thing is just the cost comparison, because these rugs do get really dirty. And if we were to have to replace the rugs every year because of the wear and tear,
Mhm.
then that would,
Yeah, ours gets pretty nasty in the winter time when you're
Yeah.
tracking in and out,
um,
you know.
Now, reading down the list here too, 8,000 of that was the alarm system we put in town hall.
mhm.
Bob Warner had an $895 charge, and I don't remember exactly what that was for. There's a $500 charge from Peak Power Systems. That's our generator service contract for the generator here.
Mhm.
Johnson Controls Fire Protection, that's our fire extinguisher check and servicing that they do every year. That's about $250. I'm just looking through the list of Ashley Mechanical. Oh, we got reimbursed for that. Never mind. The alert alarm and security, I'm sorry, was 16,000. We paid half and paid half again. So
So I think if we leave it at 65, that gives us wiggle room because we're not getting an
Yeah.
alarm system again.
And 12,700, we're at 49 spent so far right now. In September, we had the Callanan, which is 12,700.
But I would, we have a copy of that, the building conditions survey laying around? I don't
Not
have mine
handy here.
No, not, but I'm saying between now and the next budget meeting, this seems like the most important budget item in this. It's the only one that we've hit so far that's like a catch-all,
Mhm.
you know, so, you know, maybe we should spend a little time in that and break it down and say, these are the things that we want to do within that budget item this year. It's why.
Well, we should decide what are actually capital improvements, because I have a feeling that when I go to the accountants and tell them about the
The alarm
alarm
system.
system and the paving, they may pull it out of that line and put it into capital improvements.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was no money budgeted there,
Yeah.
so it will be.
It's just
a-
moving,
It's moving from
Right.
one line to another.
right. I
But-
like your idea, Adam.
But let's see, because there was things in there that should be done immediately, like the ADA compliant, but I can't remember off the top of my head what the rest of them are,
Okay,
you know?
It's a good placeholder then until. we
leave
know.
it at 65 for now, and we can
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
it some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
1020. I'm gonna make it.
Different color. Borrow your yellow.
Yeah. Got it.
That's it.
Now you need to-
Cleaning services. It's been a couple of years since we've given a raise. I would like to give Sheila a $1 an hour raise. I think she's at, I have to double check if she's at 16 or 17. I would like to bump up $1. It's been at least, I think we did it in 19. So it was 19, 20, 21. It's been.
She sure as heck is worth it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
So I budgeted, bearing that, I budgeted 16,000. I upped it by 2,000.
Keeping our place as clean as she does. She definitely deserves it.
Rental and lease, that's an occasional thing. If we have to rent something, I put 1,000 in as a placeholder. I'm not sure what rent here at $730. I can work that up to. What's the 4-digit code on that one? We have it handy.
1620.
Here
Dot
we
450.
go. Oh. Pitney Bowes. That shouldn't be in that category.
Is that postage?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get those numbers moved. I'm glad I noticed that, so.
Okay.
They were billed under buildings general rental lease, but that should go to the mail. So right now, there's nothing in that category, but if we have to rent a piece of equipment or something, or one time we had to rent, to get up, to do some work up on the roof, we had to rent from Taylor,
Mhm.
cherry picker.
Lift.
Lift.
The lift, yeah.
So I'd like to just leave the 1,000 as a placeholder, but I will get this, that 730 moved. Because that clearly is a mistake. It's just the first 3 payments for it. That explains why that number looks so low to me
Right.
on the other side. And then general operation and maintenance, we were at 6,000. That's everything from operation and maintenance is supplies and materials are like paper towels, toilet paper, that kind of stuff for the
Mhm.
buildings. Operation and maintenance is if, that's, Harry did a fair amount of painting this year. and
Screws,
stuff.
nails.
Screws, nails, that kind of stuff.
So why did you increase it?
I just looked at, we spent 30, you know what, I don't really know, Chris, to
Okay.
be honest.
Just
Um,
curious.
I'm
Are we
willing to-
are we
I'm willing to
anticipating
go
more?
back. No, I think I was just thinking that we may want to do a little more, because there's a fair amount of painting.
Did,
That would fall actually under the, because the professional services are more, we hire somebody else.
remind me, when did we move Harry from the transfer station to building and maintenance?
January.
January.
So he was there the whole year?
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say if he was only there 9 months.
No,
then
he
it-
did a
He's
lot of
been-
painting at the annex. He did some painting here.
Yeah.
We painted that new building, the new little piece here. But like, I still would like to, I probably too cold to do it now. I would like to scrape the eaves on the side of this building.
Oh,
and paint
okay.
all that really needs it.
Yeah, it does.
I think it's good to increase it, but maybe 1,000 per year.
Okay, so let's go to 7 instead of 8. I think my thinking was there was a lot of painting on that building condition survey that we would do in-house.
Yeah.
Because this line, the professional services is where we hire somebody to do the work.
Yeah.
Or we have a contract. Operation maintenance is our own.
And forgive me if there's more pages to this, there's not. When we're talking about, buildings and maintenance, like one of the things that the condition survey came back was at the transfer station, was doing something with the inside and the outside,
Yeah,
the building that the guys are working in, that could probably be like a $4,000 or $5,000 project, to put a ceiling in there and, proper floor and stuff like that. But again, coming along with a lot of paint, I would
Yes.
imagine out there.
Yep.
Let me just save this as our general fund preliminary.
It's cool to paint that
All right,
brown wood of the main.
get somebody to make a mural on it on the outside, look like a cow or something. Those cool roadside stands when you're out west,
Yeah.
something-
I think that would
Like a
be cool,
dinosaur.
and I bet you someone would just do that.
I bet we have somebody in this is when you have to look at the camera and save all of our.
Who's willing?
There
Maybe Marie Ridelbach.
you go.
She's the one who did the giant mill.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Her original concept was to create the land of the giants.
Yeah.
And so the gnome was supposed to be the first one. She was working on a giant miner in Rosendale.
Yeah.
And wanted to have roadside attractions throughout the area.
How cool is that?
What would be really cool if someone wanted to do a mural of the cycle of refuse.
Ooh, there
Very
you
nice.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the window in the middle. and
Yeah.
Right around it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good thinking.
Inspire people to recycle,
Yeah.
yes.
like as they're driving.
Reminder signs all the way around the building. Yeah, I like it, like 5 miles until, what is it, Wall Drug out west has all those billboards.
Oh, yeah,
Or
Yeah,
down
yeah.
south,
Yeah.
south of the border.
Sorry, guys, I just need to make sure I save this in the right place. and
We'll
I
talk
will-
amongst ourselves.
We're
that's
talking
okay.
about murals at the transfer
Yeah, it's
station, Mike,
Okay.
We're all right. Yeah.
but it's not gonna add to the budget.
Yeah.
No,
No,
Just if I save something the wrong name, oh, I
Yeah.
will be like losing sleep. I've got this so tricked out that this feeds off of this, off of this, off of this, and one wrong save.
yeah.
I just like,
I've got a few of those
Yeah.
myself. All of a sudden you see that.
Div number
Yeah, you
5.
see the dip, or you see that little, I get the red triangle in the corner,
Oh,
and it's like,
Death triangle.
yeah.
I always thought it was pretty good, and then I saw you work Excel. You're amazing. And then I was working with an actuary the other day, and he takes these giant raw data files. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my goodness, it was terrifying to watch. Yeah.
okay, let's talk dental. real quick.
All right.
Let me get the MVP open. You guys have your copies?
I've got all my paperwork from the past 3 meetings.
I'm glad, because I did not go to the office right here, but I do have.
yeah, the one I presented to the guys was the traditional one. I think that's the one that. That's the one that was circled.
Mhm.
Yes, that's what I would like to present. Now, I asked her what the difference was, the question we had about the difference of the PPO versus the PPO plus Premier. Some dentists only do the Premier plan, some dentists only do the PPO. She ran me a list of
Oh, right.
number of dentists in the area, and let me just pull that up real quick. Sorry, I didn't print it out.
I've got a copy we can all share.
You won't have a copy of the list, so.
Oh, of that,
Yeah.
okay,
That's all right.
that's fine.
I had to make an emergency trip to Hartford this morning to get my mom to fly back home because Southwest canceled 1,800 flights this weekend.
I saw that. Yeah, I read that. Yeah. That was nice of them.
We had guys in Vegas yesterday morning driving to Los
So
Angeles.
there are,
Fly back, yeah.
within a 25-mile radius of the Accord zip code, there are 204 dentists who subscribe to the PPO.
Okay.
There are,
Kind of like the network.
oh, she said there are 204, but the printout maxes out at 200.
Okay.
There are 1,346 within a 60-mile radius.
As opposed to the other one, 6 guys. 6 dentists.
Oh, wait, this is. Oh, some of these are Premier and some are not.
Oh, I
Premier.
see. There's PPO and there's PPO plus Premier.
Right. Just looking through the list.
They're about $10.
And the only difference is the amount of providers or the.
Now, there are some in Kingston that are accepting new patients with either the PPO or the PPO Premier.
About Hobson.
I think we have one dentist.
Yeah, Reading.
Mhm.
That's who I used actually.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because if
Is what,
The closest one is,
Guys
in
go,
the
you want
closest
them to be
dentist
in
to us
network.
is in
Yes.
Rosendale.
Yes.
Ellenville. Accepting new, all these are accepting new patients. That's good. There's a number in Ellenville. I'd rather not say names.
Yeah, that's
but,
fine.
But is
There's
this,
some in
the-
New Paltz. there's
this
some
is
in
just the
Highland.
plain PPO? Do we, what's
No,
the
this is
difference?
both. The list it covers both PPO and PPO Premier.
Oh.
It does appear that the majority of them that I'm scanning through do both.
Okay.
and there's no difference in the plan?
No, the plan, the difference is what get paid back,
Right.
the way she described it to me. The way she did it, she said to me, I don't know, Adam, because you don't deal with health insurance, but these dentists are par with the plan, the term.
Yeah.
And I only learned this term because Tracy,
Yeah.
because she works in health insurance. So it means the dentist subscribes to the plan, but I'm looking at the list and it appears that they all do, all the close ones do either PPO or Premier. And I think the difference is probably in what the dentist gets paid from the program.
And then did you ask her about the question we had about rating?
Yes.
Plan?
So once the 6-month waiting period, it's by participant. So once you've been in that 6-month waiting period, as long as you stay with the plan, you will never have to wait again. So if we go to a different plan next year, everybody who is already in the plan will just continue without
There you go.
any new participants who come in have to wait
Right.
the 6 months
Okay.
before any major.
But if we could get excellent participation on the initial enrollment, and then we find good usage of it throughout the year, and then we have the desire to.
Right.
The following year, they can get a full year with the better plan and not have to pay.
Right.
You know, but again, we'll just have to.
I'm not seeing though, all these seem to take the PP or the Premier. So it's just a matter of probably the copay is the same. I think it's what the plan pays the dentist is the difference. But if the dentists are taking both plans, frankly, it doesn't matter to us what the dentist is getting paid because that's what the plan pays. Now, if you go out of network, then I can't remember, was there a section in there for out of network?
We didn't have anything.
The other,
If you go out of network, do they pay anything?
I didn't say
It'll
anything.
be
I
on
mean,
page 1.
yeah,
typically, you have to see if they'll reimburse you is how that works, but there's nothing.
Oh, and the other thing she points out, which if you look down at the bottom, the annual maximum is waived for diagnostic and preventative with the traditional option. So the maximum, the diagnostic and preventative is not included in your annual. I mean, it is included in your annual, whereas in the other ones, it's not.
how do the guys feel about the cost?
The cost that the number I had written down was what Kate had given me, and I think it was $4 for the individual
It's about 4 for an individual per week.
per week.
Paycheck.
Yeah, 4 per
If we
week.
pay
100.
50%.
That was
That
individual.
was if they pay 50% and we pay 50%.
Yeah, and then 9, I think it was for the,
Yeah, I mean, that was
Employee
a
and
rough in my
spouse.
head.
Yes.
We'll have to calculate
and
it
then
exactly.
13, I think, or something for the family. But they were very happy with that for the week. A few guys had that particular insurance.
And I think we
years ago,
offer
and-
50% coverage for all participants. You know, like right now, or that we pay 50 and they pay 50. Right now, if you're,
Right, it's
With-
80-20 and
no, with the health insurance, actually, it's for the individual employee, we pay 80 and they pay 20%. But if
Right.
they want family coverage, then we pay 50 and they
Right.
pay 50 for the additional family members. This way, we just say, we'll pay 50% no matter how many people you're covering. It's a way to dip our toe in the water if maybe next year we find we can go to the 80%.
Yeah. Well, they were happy with that.
I think to be able to offer dental coverage is something that they've all asked for
Yeah.
for a long time.
so it
And-
sounds like we're saying traditional PPO.
That's what I'm thinking,
With a 50%,
with a 50% payment
yeah.
by the employee, 50% per covered person.
Would you like to make that
I'd-
resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
gotta look at the camera.
Yeah.
I don't have I came totally unprepared.
A
I
piece of
need a
paper.
piece of paper,
Piece of
pen,
paper.
and I
Or-
apologize. I got,
for the back of the dental plan.
How about the
That'll
dental
work.
plan?
that'll work. So it's, can I borrow your pen, Adam? I'm
Brought your pen.
totally
That's all right.
unprepared here because I came straight
Like
from.
the kid in school who
Yeah. always-
borrow a piece of paper, and
Yeah.
a pencil,
Yeah.
send the notes, and the answer to the question.
Aaron made the motion, Chris seconded to offer the traditional option PPO. And the employee to pay 50% of the coverage and the town of Rochester to pay 50% of the coverage.
And that's, oh, so we
That
have a
would be-
motion on second. This is a discussion.
Yep.
On the deductible, though, they were not offering to pay anything on the deductibles.
No,
Right,
no.
okay. I
this
wanted
would
to
just be
confirm.
for the coverage
Yeah.
itself.
And then
The only
they're,
reason we do the deductible on the other is because it's a high deductible in order to get the lower rate. So the rate is what it is. So they're
Yep.
still paying the deductible. We're just offering and paying 50% of the coverage and they pay 50% of the coverage. And it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. Anybody can choose to opt in or choose to opt out. And anybody who wants it can have it. And anybody who doesn't.
No, it went
doesn't
over,
have to.
it went over very well. Like I said, I rattled off the numbers that you had guesstimated.
Yeah.
And it sounded good.
Okay.
Do we need anything like starting November 1st or time?
This
now?
would start with our new policy. So the motion would be to authorize the supervisor to sign the contract effective December 1st, 2021.
Yep.
Offering the
Traditional.
CDP, HP, Delta Dental of New York traditional PPO option with a payment of 50% by the employee and 50% by the town of Rochester.
Okay, I'm okay
You
with
made
that
that
wording.
motion.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
And Kate can get it from YouTube
Okay.
exactly. So Chris, you'll second it?
Yep.
All in favor, Jeff, you don't get the vote.
I know how the vote's gonna go.
Aye,
I,
opposed?
How did you know?
how'd you know that?
Inside
Dad?
Well, since
information.
you had a seat at the table, I didn't want you to get.
That's, no, that's good.
Motion to
It's
adjourn?
9:00. I think it's perfect.
There you
Second.
go.
Thank you very much,
Aye.
Aaron and Chris. Thank you, everybody.
No problem.
Yes,
Thank you, Mike.
we gotta.
Some great math there.
Yeah,
So far, so good.
yeah. Yeah, the guys
Keep it
are
going.
very happy
Still
with
gotta
the,
cut some
with the
money,
price
though.
of the.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat, I mean, for an engine, $4 a week for an
Yeah.
individual, I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
You could win for a clean